Hello. Hi, everyone. We're back. All right. I feel so out of practice. It's been yeah, it's been a while. Hi, everyone. All right, let's get things going. Where's the other one? Tracy, where'd you go? Hello.
Hi, how are you?
My dog's barking. Clearly, it's been a while since we've done this because she's like, who are you talking to?
I'm not used to you talking to yourself in your bedroom again.
I know. I'm not used to you locked in your room talking to people.
I know.
Where's Tracy?
I know she's here. I was just messaging her.
I saw her, and then, yeah. So I was about to go live, and then I realized, like, oh, I don't have my shirt on. I ran downstairs, fished it out of the laundry basket.
I know, because mine is, I just saw the message when I came up here. I thought I was late because it was like 8:02. And then I saw you guys were wearing them, and I'm like, now I need to go down and get my shirt.
I know. It was a last minute. It was a last minute thing. I had to throw mine in the laundry just real quick and freshen it because it was just sitting in a pile.
I haven't unpacked my suitcases. I haven't done laundry. I went grocery shopping today.
God, you're worse than me. I haven't done it. Well, I did unpack Sunday, the next day. I don't remember. Monday. I think I unpacked Monday.
I pulled out what I needed, like for my toiletries and stuff like that. But no, I have not.
I have not gone to the grocery store. I haven't left the house except last night we went to a baseball game.
Yeah.
With my
kids. God, we have 230 people here.
Oh, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah, I chopped the hair. It was really funny at the meetup that we did on the Sunday we were there. People were like, "Did you cut your hair?" Because I chopped it like
a week before or so, right?
No, it was like a week after our book club finale. I had an appointment, and I wanted to chop it before Scotland because I was like, I want it shorter so it's easier to manage, and so no one had seen it, and then, and then it was one of the things people said. I was like, oh, so you do watch because you notice my hair.
Yeah. Is that hey Colin?
Hey, everyone. Hi, Kareen.
I know I'm thinking about doing something drastic with mine. I don't know.
The thing is, it will grow back. I always say do it because it will grow back.
But I did this over COVID.
Yeah. You cut it, but it was, there we go. But it wasn't like a drastic cut, was it?
I mean, I've had it short or like shorter than yours before.
Yeah. I've had it shorter than this, which
Yeah.
curly is like a hot mess. You end up looking like Annie.
So many questions.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I stopped adding the box because I was like this is what I've got.
Yeah, I have quite a few as well. They're probably duplicates though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to weed out the duplicates.
I had some, the thing is, I had duplicates, but they were mostly like favorites, like what was your favorite this, favorite that. But I had a lot of like specific questions that were different. So
yeah.
Anyway, but the best question I think I got was, what was going on with Maria? Why was she only taking pictures of her boots? I didn't respond because I was like, we want to answer that here. It was just so funny. They're like, sorry.
Somebody asked me that.
Really?
But I can't remember who.
It was probably the same person.
It was while we were on the trip.
Oh, mine wasn't. Mine was submitted.
I don't remember who it was.
Oh,
anyway.
Jean said she asked that. Okay. Well, I thought it was something fun. I like did it once and then I put in like, I should do that in all my pictures because like the ground is so interesting there with the cobblestones and the
Yeah.
old rocks. And
I thought you were like marking all, like just taking a picture of all the places that you went to.
Yes.
right. And so it was like a marker of each place. This is what part of the ground looks like at this castle, or, you know,
Yeah.
this is what this looks like. So
It was
that's
like
why I
yoga
was doing that.
pictures.
I totally got it. I knew exactly what you were doing because I've done that before. Yeah. So my series, which
Yeah.
I don't know how it started. I think it started the first night at the Sheepheads Inn. When you were out-
peed.
When you were outside doing stretches and yoga poses and stuff, I started a series called Maria Does Yoga in Outlander Locations. And I just thought it was hysterical. I don't know why. And to be honest, I did not remember, like in every Outlander location we went to.
No,
I totally forgot to say, "Hey, Maria, do a pose." But
So
I think I got enough in there that it just made it funny.
Yeah.
You know.
I rewrote our itinerary because I wanted to see it like mapped out.
Visual. Yeah.
I know.
Because
I went
I
on-
couldn't. The days started to kind of blur together when I was like looking back at it.
Right.
Mhm.
So I tallied up the locations, the Outlander filming locations that we went to.
Yeah. I did a spreadsheet. I had to go back and like redo
And not
everything.
counting, not
need to send that
counting
to me.
like the town, but the actual like this is where this scene was shot. We went to 18 filming locations.
Wow.
So we'll go through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm thinking though, because I see people are putting comments, like they're asking questions. If you can hit the little bubble that has the question mark and submit your questions there, that way we can post them and it's easier to find because we're never
They're scrolling too fast.
Yeah. So if you have, we're gonna go through them. I did them by category. This is the teacher in me, but this is what I was doing last night.
Yeah.
Was categorizing them because there was no way I didn't want to jump all over the place.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm trying to open it on here. Okay.
Yeah,
So
because I did like the Outlander sites, what they were used for, and then I did like other locations that we went to, and then the cities that they were in. So we were along the same lines, kind of, because it's like you have to like see it, and because people ask what restaurants, which this, what's that. So that's what I try to do, all that.
Okay, good, because I didn't do that. Can you send that to me?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you don't see the question mark, there's a plus sign at the bottom where you can submit questions. But usually for me on my phone, it looks like a little speech bubble with a question mark inside. So Shell_D_D said if you don't see the question mark, hit the plus sign. I guess there's a plus sign for some people.
Yeah, there's a plus sign.
It might depend on what kind.
If you hit the plus sign, it'll pop up the little question bubble.
Okay. So the first question I got that I thought we could start, I wonder who the type A's are. Yeah, type A.
I'm a type everything.
What does that make me? I don't even know.
I don't know. So we'll talk about our itinerary in a minute, but first, one of the questions I got was how we all met and how long we've been friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought we could start there because, and what are we drinking? Are you drinking?
I'm drinking a double old fashioned. I know.
Patsy's out of practice. She's got a water bottle.
You're drinking a water?
But I also have like this up here. I mean, I can drink this with water, you know, because I'm stocked up here at the lounge. So I have my bourbon and I have a glass, you know. So
yeah. All right. So we all met. Well, we started talking probably July, August of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I think Maria had put out something because a bunch of us were going to Comic-Con in New York that October. And she had posted something of like who else is going and created like a group chat. And
oddly, there was only 7 of us in it.
I know. It's kind of nice that we had smaller followings back then because it was just us.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
But there were 7 of us. So there's the 3 of us. And then Christina, who was with us on our trip and may or may not be able to pop on. She's working. Sarah and Becky, who are sisters. Sarah runs Outlander TikTok. Becky is a civilian. She doesn't have a fan account. And then our friend Mary. And so the seven of us went to Comic-Con, and it was kind of like a way to just have people that we knew to wait in line with and, you know, that sort of thing. But then afterwards, we just kept talking. We all kind of thought it would fizzle, you know, afterwards. And we just kept talking, and it became this thing where we talk every day. And I talk to you guys more than I talk to, like, my friends from, you know, before Outlander.
Same.
So it's been kind of cool that we just all have stayed in touch.
Yeah.
And then, so it's been since
October 2019-ish.
Yeah, but around this time in 2019,
19.
Talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was August-ish.
Yeah,
because that there were
like official that they were going and all of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Turned off my notifications, and they're still. Anyway, all right, my live's not working on my computer, so we're going to have to just go off of here. So really make sure you send those questions on the thing, because otherwise.
Yes.
All right, so to jump in, I have two categories: travel questions just in general, and then Scotland in general. So I figured we could start with travel in general. So the first question that I got was, there's someone who is planning on traveling soon, and it's kind of their first time flying. And so they wanted to know if we had any issues with flights.
I did not. I just had minor delays, but other than that, no.
Yeah, same delays, but that was it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as this being your first flight, do you have any layovers, like, in America? Are you going from, like, let's say you're going to go from, like me, like Cleveland to New York or something like that? That'll be a nice little gauge. Or from wherever you're from, is that like a nonstop flight? A nonstop flight is really nice. If you can get a nonstop from, like, I had a nonstop from Boston to Edinburgh, was beautiful, but it's not always the case. Because if it's your first flight, you know, you don't know how you're going to react to it. Gina, my sister Gina's on here.
Hi, Gina.
Hi, Gina. So funny. You know, you just don't know what you're going to be on a flight for 6, 7, 8 hours. From Boston to Edinburgh and then on the way back. So,
Yeah.
you know, it just depends on your personality.
Heathrow Airport is a nightmare, just putting that out there.
Yeah, Heathrow in general was awful.
Yeah.
So Christina and I traveled together. We did JFK to Heathrow to Edinburgh. And JFK wasn't too bad. There was just a lot of flights leaving at the same time. And so we sat on the tarmac for about an hour, which is not bad. I mean, it was fine. We were boarded. It was fine. And then we took off. I looked out my window and I counted. There were like 11 planes queued up behind us. So there was a lot of people trying to get out at once. And then at Heathrow, we were delayed. One, because the crew or some members of the crew were delayed in previous flights. And so it caused them to not get their required amount of rest. So they had to delay our flight so they could get their legal amount of rest that they need. Then it was delayed because people missed their flight and they had to take their luggage off the plane. Then there was like 2 other reasons why. Like there was 4 total reasons why they were delaying our flight. But as it turned out, we only ended up being like 45 minutes late past our arrival in Edinburgh. And then coming back, my Heathrow to JFK flight was delayed twice, which was fine, except it caused me to miss my train from New York to back home. So that was a little stressful, only because by that point I just wanted to be home.
Yeah.
So Heathrow just announced they're not taking any more new flights till September, since they're all backed up with lost baggage. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, there was so much baggage at that airport. I was like, what is going on? People were just leaving. They were just leaving their bags.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah. One thing I thought was weird about Heathrow was you get off a connecting flight, right? So I've gone through security in New York. I land in Heathrow. They make you go through security fully again.
Yeah.
So then that was weird to me. It's like I haven't left the airport.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But
I know,
I
we
get that
had
there's
to-
like different
We had to
protocols.
recheck our bags.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I haven't even left the airport and I had to recheck the bags.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know on the way back, the return flight, we had a layover in Paris at Charles de Gaulle. That was a nightmare too. That was another
because they
nightmare
were selling,
airport.
weren't they like oversold their plane tickets or something like that?
Yes, I didn't know if I was going to get on the flight because there was a flight canceled the day before. So they merged it with this flight and then I got bumped off. And so I had to wait till everybody boarded to find out if I had a space or not. And I'm like, I need
crazy.
to be here. I need to be in Boston
Yeah.
today. Like, you can't do this to me. So yeah, it was crazy. Plus then I had to go through security 2 more times because they said one gate and then we were waiting and then they're like, no, it's at this gate. But then I had to go through
Yeah.
security again. It was just a kind of a nightmare.
It was a little nightmare.
Yeah.
Someone said it was because of customs. I did not go through customs
No.
until I returned to New York.
Yeah.
So it had nothing
Same
to do
too.
with that.
Us too.
Yeah.
But then we had to collect our bags and
Yeah.
go recheck them in, and it was
Yeah.
just weird.
It was weird.
Yeah, I did have to go through customs when we got to Boston. Stupid me, I had an apple that I brought with me, and I'm like, well, I have an apple in my bag. And so then we had to go through. Jim's like, why did you even say anything? I'm like,
So they went
I
through
wanted
everything.
the apple, and then they threw it away, and I was so mad.
Yeah.
I wanted it.
Well, that's what happened to Christina and I because we thought a connecting flight we wouldn't have to go through security. We both had like full water bottles that we had
Yeah.
purchased in New York. So when we landed
Yes.
in Heathrow, we had to throw everything away. No, I did not
Same.
have to go through immigration or customs when I
No.
landed in Heathrow or Edinburgh.
No. Well, you landed in Edinburgh, you just like go through a thing. You have to scan your
Christina's
passport,
here.
and that's it.
Yep.
It's nothing scary.
No.
Christina's here.
Christina.
Well, Christina, if you want to join. If you just want to sit and watch, that's fine too.
Let's talk about our Outlander tour.
All right. Well, I have other questions first.
Okay. Sorry,
last-
you go. You
all right.
go.
All right. So someone wanted to know if we had Scottish or British pounds. I had Scottish pounds.
Yeah, Scottish. If you're going to
Um,
Scotland, get Scottish pounds. Don't get British pounds.
They're the same as, aren't they the same?
They
No,
are,
so,
but if
so Scotland will accept Scottish or British. England will not accept Scottish, or it depends on where you are.
Because I got my pounds through my bank. You can get your pounds through your bank before you even go on your trip, which is what I did.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
And they were good in London and in Scotland.
Did you get
And-
British or Scottish?
I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's.
They had the Queen on them.
well,
So
they all
I-
do.
I don't
Well,
know.
they're gonna say, Bank of Scotland or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Get
don't
more
know.
cash than you think you're going to need because we ended up getting so overcharged because we ended up going to get, my husband had American cash that he went and turned in. We went to like the post office is where you go because if
Yeah.
you try to go to a bank, they won't cash them for you because you don't have an account there. So the post office like literally will
But then
rake
there's-
you.
But then there's a lot of places that don't take cash.
Well, I don't think that we ran into any place that didn't take cash.
I
didn't
did.
Oh,
Would
where?
They wouldn't take the pounds.
They wouldn't take cash. They'd only take the card.
Where?
I can't remember.
Oh,
I didn't have any issue.
I didn't have any issue
My
either.
card. I tended to use pounds when it was like a small shop or when we were up kind of in the
Mhm.
things like that. Other than that, I just use my debit card.
Somebody asked if you could use Apple Pay. I feel like yes.
Most places, not
Well,
everywhere.
They had the card readers that had the chip readers, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
yes.
I loved that. Everybody had those little handheld things, and all you had to do is tap your card on it.
Mhm.
It was awesome. I wish that I had an active. I wish that I had an active credit card that I could take and just charge everything. so
Yeah.
that I would know how much money I spent. I didn't. I
Right.
just used my regular check card.
Yeah.
So I didn't keep a running tally. But it was so easy because you just tap your card on everything, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I
Um,
my card for most of it.
yeah. But it's good to have some cash on you
Yes.
for tips and stuff.
I have all my receipts. I'm adding everything up.
Wow.
I haven't done that because I'm afraid to know.
I know.
I don't want to know.
I
I
don't
don't
wanna
want to know.
I need to know. I have to know.
I asked my husband when we got home. I just said, how much do you think that we spent for this whole trip, the entirety of the trip? Because a lot of it we paid for a while ago.
Right.
The plane tickets and
Yeah.
the stuff that we paid to Charlotte, we paid that months ago. So when we got home, I was like, so just take a guess. And he said, probably close to $10,000 for that whole trip. But we went to London. Becca and I went to London.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
two.
for 4 days before that. So it wasn't just the 8 days in Scotland. Oh my gosh, this is really strong. Woo!
All right. The next question was about the weather. I thought the
The
weather
weather
was great.
was awesome. I loved it. I could live there.
It,
I
it,
could live
I mean,
there.
I think you need to plan. If you're planning on going, just remember that you're going to want to pack layers. So
Layers.
I had a light rain jacket, and I wore that almost every day.
Yeah.
And then underneath, I had like long sleeves on. And it was the kind of thing, like if there was no wind and it was sunny, you were comfortable enough to take off your jacket. But once we went up into the Highlands, that's when it was colder. And we definitely, I mean, I remember putting on, at one point when we were at Glencoe, I like busted out my suitcase and took out a sweatshirt so I could have that third layer.
Yeah.
oh yeah. 4 seasons in one day is the truth.
Yeah.
And not even that, but you're gonna have sun, you'll have misty rain, and then it'll be, really raining, and then it'll just be cold and windy. It's just everything.
The last 2 days that we were there,
They
it was
were beautiful.
Like
That
75.
last day where it was like, we were on the Harry Potter tour and Tracy and I were like sweating. I was like, this would have been my
Sweating.
one day I would have worn shorts. Like I
Yeah.
would say,
Yeah.
like if you're packing and you're worried about space, don't bother with shorts.
Yeah.
No, that's what I wrote that down. Don't bother wearing shorts because
Don't bother wearing shorts, but a t-shirt, bring a couple of t-shirts
Mm-hmm.
just in case, because
Yeah,
it
but-
did get really warm.
Especially
you know what?
if you're on a tour where you're going to be in the car a lot, like pack a layer or two that you can like easily change in and out of, because like it was nice to have when we were going up to Inverness to have an extra layer I could throw on,
Right.
just because it was damp and really misty out. We managed to avoid most of the downpours. There was one downpour when we were in Inverness in Edinburgh that we missed entirely.
Yeah. I feel like the only time we got really rained on was just in Glencoe.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That
it
was
so
that was the
cool.
most.
It was so
It was
cool.
so beautiful. I will say though, if you are in any of the coastal areas, you're going to get more rain. For the first few days, my husband and I were in Oban, and it rained every day in Oban. Like not all day, but it was always misty. It was always like some drizzle. It was always wet. And on those same days in Edinburgh, it probably wasn't like that. Like the beautiful days that we were there, the last couple of days in Edinburgh, probably wasn't like that in Oban. So it just depends on where you're going. It's not a one size fits all weather thing. Scotland, it's
Somebody
everywhere.
asked when the sun set, because it was
late.
out so late. I
Like
think the
10:40.
sun
Until like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it was,
technically
sky
the
was
sun
light.
set at like 10ish,
Yeah.
but it was still light for a whole nother hour after that.
Yeah, I said to Christina when we got, which she asked if she wants us to join, if we want her to join. Yes. So hit request if you want to pop on, Christina. But she and I roomed together, and we were like, thank God for the blocking shades, because
Mhm.
it would have been too bright in the room.
Yeah.
It was not light at 3 a.m. Although I was never
No,
up at 3 a.m.
it was-
I don't know.
I think sunrise was at like
4-ish.
4:30 or something like that, 4 o'clock.
But that's just this time of year, so it depends on
Yeah.
what time of year you're
It's-
going. If you're going in November, it's going to be dark more.
Right.
Yeah, it's just
Although
not-
everyone's talking about their hair. I mean, this is my hair naturally. This is curly hair.
I wore my hair down a lot of days.
I blew my hair dry most mornings and was fine. There was one day, I think it was the Glencoe day, because it was misty, that I had like a wave to it afterwards, but I never had, I mean.
Your hair looked gorgeous the whole time. Shut up.
Oh.
No, Christina, please come on and request to join.
What'd she say?
She just sent a text.
Yes, we want you to join.
Yes.
Come. Come. Oh, by the way, Becca says hello. She loves
Becca.
you guys and she misses you guys and she had so much fun.
I
yeah.
love spending time with her.
She went out with a friend tonight, so she couldn't be
nice.
here.
It was nice to see her start out like you could tell she was kind of like didn't know, but then by the end she started coming out a little bit, which was nice to see.
She told me a funny story about the back seat, by the way. I'll wait till Christina comes on to tell it.
Oh boy. Are the people friendly?
Oh my gosh, they're so nice. Scottish people are so nice.
Yes.
I thought they were nice, but
until you walk into the restaurant and they're like, "Damn, we got to work now."
Oh yeah, just the one restaurant. They were like, "Oh, they didn't want us to sit
Pretty much
there."
every restaurant.
Oh.
We were in the grass market and I went in and asked what time they close, and she was like, "It's on the door." I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
sorry. This is my first time walking into your establishment. I didn't think to look at the door that was propped open." But okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think in restaurants they were kind of like,
they're
They were
over
a
the
little-
American thing.
They were a little standoffish, and they were
a
like
little standoffish. But I think there were other times where we were just kind of, I don't know, like it was like once we kind of figured out their person, like the guy at World's End.
World's End, yeah.
It was like once we figured out that he was just busting our chops, it was fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely
Hi.
something to get used to.
Yes.
Is the their sense of humor, because it's not like they're trying to make fun of you or be but they kind of like not call you out, but yeah, bust your chops about things that you do.
I
But
think
it's in fun.
I
Like
think part of it though is because the whole tipping thing is weird.
Yes.
I don't think that people generally tip their servers. And so I tried to make it a point to tip like I normally would here. And once they knew that I was tipping, then they were so happy. They were, but I think when you come in, they're just like, I think they're just not sure what.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that Charlotte had told us was that they don't expect it, but if you've had good service, to tip. And there were a couple times where, because we were a party of 6, they would add a service charge, but it was sometimes hard to understand if that was like gratuity or if that was something separate and didn't go to the servers. So we kind of would err on the side of caution and just tip. Because there would be like a 10% service charge. And I'm like, well, 10% is nothing,
Yeah.
So, yeah, at the kitchen,
I just tipped.
the service was phenomenal.
I didn't care what their attitude was. I was going to tip them really good just because I didn't want them to be like, oh, those fucking Americans.
Yeah. Hi, Christina.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm a little sweaty. I just got home.
Yeah, the kitchen was amazing.
Yeah, the kitchen was fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know the tipping and the service thing really bothered Tracy. It didn't bother me so much. I think their approach to service is just like, enjoy yourself. We're not going to make a big deal. Whereas I think in the US we focus too much on it. So I think that's why it was like a little weird, but I didn't have any problems with the overall, but I agree with Nicole, like 10% is nothing. So we definitely tipped where we thought it was appropriate.
Yeah. I mean, when we were at the sheep.
She peed.
She peed. Oh my God.
So
I forgot about Pierre.
Oh God, Pierre.
Bless. Bless.
Was his name Pierre?
No.
That's
it was
just
Les.
what we were calling him.
Bless.
But it's
He
really
was
Les.
He was really nice, though.
He was
I like
very
him.
nice. But he had no clue what he was doing.
No.
He had a computer system to input the orders in, And at one point, Maria ordered a Long Island iced tea, which was on the drink menu, and he told her that they didn't have it because he
We don't have it. We can't
he
make
We're
that.
out
couldn't
of
find
that.
the button.
And then there was something else, and
there
he's
was
like, "No,
something
we
on the
can't make
menu
that." I'm
he
like,
ordered, and he was like, "That's," and he basically was like, if he couldn't find it right away on the screen, they didn't have it.
"No."
Yeah.
So at one point, I don't remember what it was, but you were like, "Can you go ask the bar if they can make the Long Island iced tea?" And he
Yeah,
did.
because Jim ordered it, and he's like, "I know you have this stuff in your bar. Go ask."
Yeah. Go ask.
And then he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, we can make it." And we're like,
So that
Yeah.
was the one time that we didn't tip very generously because he was just like, the food was really good, but he was just
He was terrible.
terrible.
Although he was very nice.
He was
he
very
was very nice, but
But
just
I said, I was like, listen, maybe this is not the job for him. He might
Yeah,
have to do
it
something
wasn't the job for him. Yeah.
And then the last Scotland in general question I had was, did anyone try a fried Mars bar? I don't think any of us did.
We didn't. I
No.
didn't even think about it. But
I
oh
did,
my
but I
God,
didn't have any desire to try it.
either.
those Mars bars were so
Yeah.
good.
On their own, were fine. They were really
I brought one home and shared it with my husband. I don't know what I was thinking. And I was just like, why is this so different? And yeah, it was amazing. But I didn't try the fried one. I would have.
we all
I
tried.
didn't. We did all
Yeah,
try
we all
haggis.
did.
It was
We all really liked
good.
it, actually.
Yeah, it tastes
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Becca
the
didn't
real
try
one,
it.
the vegetarian one was good.
The
Oh, you had the
one was okay.
vegetarian?
Yeah,
We did. You and I did. Christina
I
and
don't
I
remember
did.
yeah. There was some
Mrs.
added-
Barrett's, the Covenanter.
Oh, okay, that's right.
At where?
At the
This
Covenanter.
Covenanter.
Oh, I didn't try it there.
Well, we didn't know it
Um,
was. I didn't realize it was vegetarian when we ordered it, and then we cut into it, and I was like, "That's not meat."
Yeah.
It was good. I liked. I mean, it was like sausage.
or
I
tastes like mushroom. Yeah, it was like
I did not plan on eating the haggis actually because of everything that I had heard about it. But when the guy at the World's End said, if you've eaten hot dogs, you've eaten worse, I was all in. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to try it then.
Yeah.
And it was
First
so
thing we had.
good.
It was so good.
Yeah. The funny thing is that Charlotte texted me this afternoon. Not Charlotte from Scotland, Charlotte from California. And she said, hey, so-and-so's on the Food Network from Edinburgh. And so I turned on the TV real quick and they were showing how they make haggis. It was quite interesting. And I'm really glad that they didn't pack it into a cow's stomach or a
And serve
sheep's stomach because that would be very unappetizing.
Well, I
But then
think
there's part of me that's like, think about what sausage is. It's an intestine.
they, right,
casing.
I know.
So it's like
It
Same
is.
thing.
you just have to kind of get past how it's.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jim loved the haggis. He even asked somebody like, "Where is it that we can get it? Like in America? Like, I don't
It
know."
was
So
really
he's trying
good.
to find it, but I
Well,
think it's cooked in.
Christina and I were shopping and we saw it and we're like, "Ooh!" And then I held the container and I shook it, and I heard liquid. And I was like, nope, I don't think I want haggis in a jar.
exactly. And maybe, but not in a jar with liquid. It was like,
No.
No,
oh,
You
I could-
definitely want to try it fried and with the dipping sauce, whatever sauce that was. It was
Oh, God.
amazing.
So good.
It was
Christy,
not in a sheep's stomach.
it's
thank
not
goodness.
I mean, isn't it a sheep stomach? Well, it's made out of different parts from
Well,
the
but
sheep,
it's cooked. The traditional
but it's
one is
cooked
inside.
in
the
it. But it's not
It's-
served in it. Like we didn't have any that were served in a stomach.
No.
But also the contents are not stomach. It's
No.
sausage, but instead of it being cooked in like intestines, which is what we're used to, it's cooked inside the stomach.
Right.
I thought it was really good.
yeah.
I loved it.
If I remember correctly, haggis is like liver and
It's like whatever like
kidney,
what-
all
yeah,
chopped up
yeah.
Right.
with,
Yeah.
with oats and then packed into like a casing. So
Says Sassenach Squad, Scotland.
Scotland 2022, baby. Woo-hoo.
All right. So
Wait, are we just talking about food right now? Because I have a couple questions about food as well. Is that what we were talking about?
Let's
it was
talk
just
about blood
Scotland in
pudding.
general. So yeah,
Well, your section. Okay.
Yeah.
So
my notes.
somebody asked if the kitchen was worth the money. You guys all say yes. I'm on the fence.
I'm on the
I mean,
fence.
I'm on the
I'm on the
fence
fence.
because the kitchen, I didn't realize it when we went there, but just your order, like you can't go there and just order appetizers and that be it. It's 110 pounds, period, for the lowest level. And that includes like a starter, your
it was
main,
three-course.
and a dessert. And then you get like other little things
Yeah.
in between.
Yeah, you order the starter. You pick your starter,
You
your
pick.
main, and your dessert,
Right.
and then they bring you several items.
Thistle.
Right. It's a thistle. Yeah,
It's a
they bring you,
They
you know,
bring
different
you
things.
bread,
Yeah,
and
there
they
was
bring
a
you
bouche.
a
There was
mouche bouche, and
a palate cleanser. There was a pre-dessert. There was
Right.
it
Yeah.
was really, really, really good.
It was good. Yeah, and Amy, you're right. It is a food experience, and that's what it is.
I think it really it hinges on if you enjoyed what you ordered.
Right.
I loved everything I ordered, so I thought it was worth the money. Like the level of service that we received was
The service
phenomenal.
was
was top notch.
Yeah.
it was top-notch service. That is for sure.
So
Yeah.
I think
Restaurants, so they tend to do tasting menus. So it's like an omakase. So yeah, you buy the set, and it's just about the full experience. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah,
I-
it definitely is an experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never been to anything like that before. So that was what was really neat to me about it, is that it was so different. I mean, my food was really good.
the scallops. Oh my god, they were so
The
good.
scallop was
Scallops,
really
oh my
good.
God.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't even eat shellfish, and I love the scallops.
yeah. Yes, and we did Christina and I got the Outlander, what was it? The Outlander
Outlander serve.
serve. Yes, we both got that with the sass snack in it.
It was okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't care for the egg white.
yeah.
And the pine, it was like that pine.
It had like a Fraser fir, yes, Douglas fir, yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have been fine. If I would have ordered it without the egg white, I probably would have liked it more, but I figure I'm going with the way it's supposed to taste, but I didn't care for the egg white.
I didn't mind the foamy head. I was fine.
Okay.
Oh, it's about 8:40. We finally hit it, and then you went.
Wait, hold on. I have one other
Okay.
food question.
Irina?
Okay, so they had just asked, we had reservations for the kitchen, yes. Did you need reservations other places you went? It's highly suggested that you have reservations, but you don't have to have them unless it's like a top-notch restaurant like what we went to.
And the sheephead, we had reservations.
And the
Right.
Witcher.
And the
And
witchery.
the Witcher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Witchery.
The
Was it the
Witchery.
Witcher or the Witchery?
The Witchery.
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 In that place, I think, first of all, we walked, and
Oh my God.
on Google Maps, it's like a 5-10 minute walk. So we're like, perfect. But we were running a little bit late. So we're like full on like speed walking. And then we turn
Up
a
hills.
corner, and it's this hill, like in cobblestone. The incline like this. And we're all hoofing it up this hill. And we get to our reservation. We're late. And my phone was not working, so I couldn't call it because it was in my name. I couldn't call to let them know we were going to be late. So I'm afraid we're going to get there and they're going to say sorry. But we sat down and we're all like, can you have water, please? But the food was really good.
The food was really good.
I know we didn't use Open Table. Most places had their own, like through their website. You'd make
Right.
So
Yeah.
because we were a larger group, I think at minimum we were 5, at max we were 7. We would make reservations wherever we went. I mean, the food there was okay. I wasn't blown away. You really
Yeah.
like
Don't look for
Friday,
salads because like
Yeah.
like you can't find a salad. Or if you do,
Salads are
it's called a
scarce.
platter. And I didn't know it was called a platter.
Yeah.
Like you could get a cheese platter or a fruit platter, but that was really a salad and fruit and cheese or whatever. But you don't really find salads. And I was like really craving some green stuff, and
Yeah.
We
it's
had
kind of hard to find.
vegetables and fruit.
The one restaurant that I absolutely loved, and I'm really bummed that we didn't find it sooner, was Scran.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get
It
to have that. I
had
missed out on that.
the most beautiful food, but it was also so delicious. Oh my
And
God.
not expensive.
And no, it was awesome. It was Becca's favorite thing. She loved the strawberry waffles and her Nutella pancakes.
Chocolate
Oh my
pancakes.
God.
That was
It was so good.
I was trying to decide because that was one of my categories was rankings. And one of the things people asked was, favorite place to eat.
Scran. They had a
It
cafe.
ranked my favorite in Edinburgh, Scran, Scran.
They had a little cafe, but on the other side, they had a restaurant.
Yeah.
And the three of us, Christina and Becca and I, went there for breakfast. That was Friday.
Not Scram.
Oh my God. It was so good.
It's not Scram. It's
I know,
Scran.
Scran. I know.
It was
Hit the wrong
so,
key.
so good.
yeah,
I posted
I-
pictures. It was delicious and it was pretty
In
as well.
Edinburgh. It's right. It's
It's
right
in
on
Edinburgh.
the bridge, which might not make any sense. But so, the city of Edinburgh is built on like hills and valleys, and there used to be bridges that kind of transversed these valleys, which is where like the slums were, and they would bring cattle through on these lower
How
pitches.
do you know this?
Because this is what
We
Jamie
went on a
told us.
tour.
You were on the tour.
James,
I wasn't paying attention.
it is.
So eventually, when they started building the city up, the bridges disappeared because the buildings were built into like the arches, and so that's where the vaults came from.
Oh, okay.
So the North Bridge is where the bridge used to be, and you get the sense that you are going up and over something because every once in a while you'll see that there is an archway still left, like exposed. But that was like our hotel. We literally like came out of our hotel, went right, and then left, and there was the North Bridge. You cross the North Bridge, and there's the Royal Mile. So we were like 5 minutes from the Royal Mile, but it took us until like the fourth or fifth day to realize we didn't have to go all the way down and then up.
Yeah.
Up
I
that
know.
treacherous hill.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Google Maps never tell you when it's an incline as it was.
Yeah. Yeah. If you go to Edinburgh, be prepared to
Walk.
walk
Up
hills.
hills.
If you have
Oh
a
my
step
God.
in,
It's
bust
not.
it out.
It's not flat.
No.
It is not flat. Yeah, somebody keeps asking about the oatmeal porridge. It was so good. It was just at the hotel. We had breakfast was included. And
I didn't
I
eat it.
loved it. I had it like every morning.
It was hit or miss for me because sometimes they made
Some
it
mornings it was better
really
than
good,
others.
and other days it was like soupy.
Yeah.
Think, so our hotel was called the Apex Waterloo, and it was right like. So there's the old city and then the new city. It was a walled city, and then when those walls came down, they started like expanding the city. So this was, yeah, pretty good. I do know how to make notes and remember important details.
Yes.
But so our hotel is a newer hotel, so it's in the new part of the city, but just barely. So we were still in. It was an updated hotel, but in walking distance to everything.
Yeah. It was only like a block away from the train station, which was great.
Yeah, which was nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have liked to try porridge in like a proper, like real restaurant and not just like our continental breakfast place because I felt like it was okay.
But it was free.
It was
so
free.
we ate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So we did that most mornings until we found Scran, and then it was like, oh my God, what have we done?
Why haven't we been coming here
Why
every
haven't-
day?
Being good food,
Also, scones with what's it called?
clotted
Clotted
cream.
Cream.
Clotted cream and
Jam.
jam is the jam. It's
Yeah.
so good. It's my new favorite thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to learn how to bake
Clotted
scones.
cream.
Scones are
Oh,
so
scones.
good.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. Should we move on to our tour?
Yes, let's move on.
Move
So-
on.
I think the biggest question I got was how we booked our tour, how we built our itinerary, who we went through, and all of that. So really, Maria, you kind of started the whole process because you're the one who met Charlotte way back when she was on Men in Kilts, right?
Yeah, I started talking to her, and then, you know, we kind of just started talking about, because we knew that we were going to go to Scotland, and so then we kind of then started with, oh, you know, she wanted to help us plan our trip, and, you know, so it kind of turned to this, and then Tracy and I were talking to her, and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so it kind of like turned into this thing. So she really helped us plan our trip. Like we, you know that there's all these Outlander locations, but you don't know what they're called like in real life. It's not Castle Leoc. It's, Dune Castle. So, we weren't sure of what all the locations were. So because she has the experience as a tour guide, because that's what she does, she, put together, she's like, well, I know that these are the places that Outlander people like to go to. So, we started a spreadsheet, because I love a spreadsheet. And
I love a good spreadsheet.
So I love a good spreadsheet.
I do. I know Christina appreciates a good spreadsheet as well. And so we kind of just started, putting everything together. And she really kind of helped us with what days, because she knew where you could drive and what you can get to in a day, like realistically.
Yeah.
So that's part of the challenge of, planning a trip is you really, unless I don't suggest you drive. I mean, unless,
oh my God, you take
Don't
your
drive.
life in your own hands.
If you've never driven on the left before, don't do it. Don't even attempt it.
It wasn't even that for me. It was not understanding like
The road sign.
The
the flow
road.
of traffic, the road
Right.
signs, like what's
was
expected.
roundabout.
It's
Yeah.
almost like you need to take like a simple like before you can rent a car as a foreigner in that.
Yeah, I'm surprised they let Sarah and her friend
I
rent a
know.
car.
I think Sarah let her friend do all the driving. Like, I'm good. You do it.
Mhm.
But in terms of our itinerary, a lot of people have asked for that. I mean, we will talk about where we went, but in terms of planning an itinerary, like we talked to Charlotte about that because we were saying how a lot of people are asking for like copies of our itineraries, and she said like that's kind of proprietary because we were under a contract with her. She built that for us, and she didn't strictly stick to it because
No.
there were
No.
days where she's like, oh my God, we have time to do this. And that's how we ended up at Ardsmuir. That wasn't ever on our
It
itinerary.
wasn't on.
No.
Oh my God! And that was one of my favorite places ever.
Same.
Yeah.
It was just, she had the time and was like, okay, And so I think it's the type of thing where we can talk about where we went, but if you want to build a trip that's going to make sense for you, that's something that you really, like, she's so knowledgeable and can really like cater it to what you want to see and prioritize where you want to go, because there's so much just Outlander related. There's so much to do. And I think because she knows us, she went above and beyond and did more for us than she probably really needed to. And so
She did so much.
Yeah. That day coming back from Inverness, and she's
Yeah.
like, we don't really have the time for this, but I need to take you here.
Yeah,
Yes.
And we went to the Hermitage.
Ugh.
that
And
was
after,
the
it
best.
almost makes me want to cry, because after hearing all her stories about her family and how they went to the Hermitage like every Sunday,
I know.
and then she took us to the Hermitage. It was Becca and Mai's favorite place.
Yeah.
I loved it.
it was beautiful there.
It was beautiful.
So yeah, I suggest, and the other thing people wanted to know was how we got to all of the sites. I mean, she drove us.
Yeah.
So she got her commercial driver's license and rented a passenger van so she could fit all of us in one car.
Mhm.
She just recently started working for Edinburgh Black Cab Tours. So she's working with those guys.
Yeah.
and-
So if you want her, and then the other guys also do Outlander tours, but if you want Charlotte in particular, she's like really booked already. I mean, even through next year. So if you really want her, well, okay, what's her email?
I'm crying.
If you go on Edinburgh Black
us all
Cab
cry.
Tours and send them an email, she'll probably be the one who emails you back. So that's how you can get a hold of her.
Yeah, she has a website, but that's more so she also does like genealogy stuff. And I think her website might be geared more towards that. I know she's not booking tours through that anymore. So if you want her as a tour guide, you have to go through Edinburgh Black Cab Tours, and you can request her. Of course, it's going to limit your, if you want her 100%, you're going to have to kind of plan your trip around her.
Around her availability, right?
She's booking up a lot now.
Yeah. She's already like full through May, I think.
I was gonna say, I think she's pretty booked through through 2023. You know, like the beginning part of it. So
Yeah. So if you want her, you need to like do it now.
But now, yeah.
at least, you know, if you know that you're gonna probably go next year, but you don't know when, and if you really want Charlotte, send an email now, find out when she's free, and then plan your trip then, because that's probably gonna be the only way that you're gonna really know that you're gonna get her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Someone wanted to know how many days we were with Charlotte and how many we were alone. So we were with her Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so we had the Thursday we all arrived, and the Thursday before we all left were our two. Oh no, we had Friday as well. So Thursday we all kind of were arriving. Friday we had a full day
Right.
in Edinburgh, and we ended with the ghost tour with Jamie. And then Thursday, before we all kind of went our separate ways, we had free as well. So we had 5 days with her.
We had 5 days with her.
Mhm.
Yeah, 5 days with her.
5 awesome days.
I know. It was so amazing.
So can I just tell you real quickly the story that Becca told us at dinner the first night we got home about sitting in the back seat with Christina here?
Okay, yeah, because I haven't heard it. I want to hear.
So some of us who were sitting in the middle seat were saying, do you have enough leg room? And she'd be like, no, can you move up just a little bit? You guys were hogging all the leg room back there.
I didn't say anything. That's all Becca.
Wait,
We
so
were
they
very
had plenty of room?
What?
Are you saying that they had plenty of room?
They had a ton of leg room back there.
I didn't
Oh, they did? Really?
know leg room.
Yeah.
I thought that was a space.
She told me that. She thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, she loved having you as a backseat partner the whole time. So
Yeah.
that was awesome.
We were backseat buddies.
Yeah.
I miss her.
Yeah. Yeah. She said to tell you hi and she loved you guys. So.
Good boot/walking shoes.
Oh, yes.
Doc Martens, baby.
Seriously, they were the
Yeah,
most comfortable.
I can't believe that I bought my first pair of Doc Martens in my 50s.
I know. Hi.
What the fuck?
Tracy's feeling that double drink.
You're double old fashioned.
Oh, I was feeling it a half an hour ago.
I know. Yeah,
Everything's numb.
y'all, I think all of us had docs except Christina. You didn't bring yours, right?
No, I didn't have docs anymore. I had another boot instead.
And then I had sneakers. They were called B, the letter B, and then Z's, Z-E-E. And those were great because it was like they just slid right on, no laces. They were so comfortable. They weren't heavy. So I wore those like to travel. And then I think the Friday that we were free and the Thursday we were free, I wore those. All the days we were like up in like in castles and stuff, and the Glencoe day I wore at the docks because I figured with the rain and the mud.
With the rain and
Right.
stuff, yeah. Yeah, I only brought my Doc Martens and a pair of really comfortable tennis shoes.
Yeah. Like a good
sneakers.
shoes is good too. But you might want something that if you're wearing sneakers, like something with a little bit of traction, because there were some terrain that you needed some grip and you could slip. So
yeah, that's why the Doc Martens were really great.
Also,
if you're wearing new Doc Martens, I got this tip from Charlotte and Kareen, is to wear get the oh god, what is it called?
Moleskin.
The moleskin. Yes, I wore that every day on the back of my heels with my new Doc Martens, and it kept me from getting blisters and stuff. It was great.
I brought 3 pairs of shoes. I brought my sneakers, my Docs, and then I brought a pair of Birks sandals just to wear, like, because the first day I wore them and they were comfortable to walk in, and then I wore them to dinner. We went to the kitchen. So I brought 3.
You had a bigger suitcase than me.
Yeah, and they were very full suitcases on the way home. Oh, someone wanted to know the ballpark cost. I'm assuming that's without flights because that's so.
I can't tell you yet. I have no idea.
I think it was hard to be paid in installments. So,
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning of the live, for my whole entire trip, it was probably, but I went to London for 4 days before Scotland.
Yeah.
It was probably between $8,000 and $10,000.
For 2 people, though.
That's
With two
2
people.
people. Yeah, you have to make sure that you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's
Because we also
that's
took a
including
first
your
class. We also took a first class train to and from Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
that was
say plan on anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 easily.
Yeah.
And including
Per
flights.
person.
Is
Per
that
person.
including flights? That's not including flights.
No,
Yeah.
that would be including flight.
My flights alone to London and back were $3,000. But that was for 2 people.
For 2 people. Right.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably.
The train to London for first class round trip was about I want to say 700.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
Time in London.
Totally worth it.
If you were just flying, it would have been built into the cost of your flight. So
Mhm.
it might be different.
Yeah.
How many pounds sterling did I take? I brought 400 pounds sterling and spent all of it.
I only took 150 and I ended up having to get more later. So probably 300.
Yeah, I had about 300, 350.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a safe amount. Is about 300.
Like I said, you can get it from your bank before you
And
go.
I know you can do it in the airport. You can do it once you're there, but you're going to pay a fee.
It's way too much.
I did it on the app on my phone for my bank. It got delivered to my house like 3 days later. I didn't have to do anything. Like it was so easy. I mean, it's like it was a no-brainer to me to do it that way.
Yeah.
Jenny Mack wanted to know how amazing were the Kelpies.
Oh,
The Kelpies were awesome, especially when
they
you're
were
standing
cool.
when you're standing underneath them and they're like looking down at you.
And you could see up their nose.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved them.
I did.
I
too.
would have liked to have seen them at night,
Yeah.
all lit up, but we couldn't get there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that we saw them. I think it would have been cool to see them lit up, but I'm glad. I mean, they were cool. You cannot go inside; you just go around them.
Yeah.
And it's cool because they're almost like surrounded by a little moat. You know.
Yeah, there is a little walkway, and Jamie and I were walking around them, and we could see inside, and it looks like for schools that they do there's like classrooms inside of them, like kind of a thing. Because we were looking in there, because there is like a little bridge with a little door, and you could see in there, and there's like things on the wall, like they would bring students in there.
Oh, okay. Those were just for like
the way lights or something, but no.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Outlander. Because hey, we were there for Outlander. Favorite Outlander location / story behind it.
Ardsmuir.
Okay.
I loved
Craig-
Ardsmuir Castle.
That was Craig Miller Castle.
Craigsmillar Castle, yes. Which was Ardsmuir. That castle was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
really
the guy that was there telling
Outside.
Oh my God, he was so
in
funny.
costume, telling
Ewan.
stories.
Yes.
Ewan
Ewan.
Lindsay was
Ewan
his name.
Lindsay. Yes.
He was awesome. I was like, can we get a picture? And I don't know if you guys saw it, but he wanted to behead me. He did behead Maria. It was awesome. It was great.
I love the side by side that you posted of like, thank you for not beheading me. Maria was not so lucky. And
You can go
Christina's
to my
back.
highlights. You can go to my story highlights to see all that.
Mhm.
yeah. I wanted to be friendly with him and that instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It was great.
Yeah.
That castle was awesome.
That cost, yeah, that was.
Well, and
that
you know
was-
what I liked about it was because it wasn't on their itinerary, it was just like a bonus.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
oh, let's stop here, and we're like, okay.
Yeah, and it was one of Becca's favorite top. Like that was one of her top 3. Was that castle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, who else? What was your favorite?
My favorite was. Are you talking about just Outlander sites in general?
Yeah.
I loved Glencoe. Even though it was cloudy and rainy, it just
It was beautiful.
was spectacular. And I knew it would be. And then to see it in real life, it was like, oh my gosh, it was just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Colin, none of us know when season 7 is going to be out. Have no idea. In 2023 sometime. Sorry.
Coolrus was pretty.
We did.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
very pretty.
Yeah. We'll go at the end, we'll kind of list all the locations we went to because I don't know if we'll actually talk about all of them, but
Mhm.
I have them all written.
The gardens of Versailles were pretty amazing.
Yes.
Gardens.
Drummond Castle,
Yeah.
that was a really cool place too. I really enjoyed that.
And maybe it's because I'm sentimental. My favorite, I think, has to be Glencourse.
I-
The
Yeah.
Which one
Mhm.
was that?
That was the wedding church, the Kirk.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it.
Well, you know what it was? It was Sarah who gave us the tour. She had the behind the scene photos and like seeing how they had to like take the golf cart and create like the Pope Mobile to get Katrina up that steep hill in her
Oh
dress,
my god, that hill was so steep.
and just the photographs she had of the different pieces of the wedding dress. Like it was just,
Yes.
that was the only time the whole time that I mean I was standing there looking at the church and I got like filled up about it. Like I got weepy because I was like, this is like,
Yeah.
I mean the fact that we get to go inside and it was just,
It was pretty amazing. And that was like
Mhm.
I think that was our only private tour,
Mhm.
wasn't it?
yeah, that
That's it.
was one that she had to like, she was waiting the day before, we didn't even know if we could go. She
Right.
Yeah. We
got
had to
us
make an
in.
appointment.
her tour.
Yeah, because that's like a private, kind of like private, I don't know, yeah, private property. Like
Yeah, it was
it's
private.
not something that is part of historic
Yeah.
Scotland and you could just go to.
Yeah, you
you
can't just
have
go
to
there.
Yeah,
have an
that was-
appointment. You have to know somebody to get in touch with the owners, to see
Right.
it. So
Big venue, so they have other
right.
on there. Shauna, yes, that was she was in some kind of wooden structure in it was like a golf cart because the wedding dress was so heavy. She couldn't, I mean, again, it was another steep incline of a walk. It was short walk, but it was steep. And so she couldn't physically walk up that hill. And so they had this golf cart that had like a padded wooden structure that she could hold on to. And yeah, and so they wheeled her up there. But the best, I mean, it was just, so she had this binder of all these photos, and she showed us like what because they also, it was the scene where Dougal's threatening the priest, and he says he's going to get him the windows,
Yeah.
and someone asked, did it feel like the sun came out? I mean, it was, at one point the sun did come out while we were sitting there, but she was telling us how, because the weather's so temperamental, they had this huge crane with a huge light above them that cast the sunshine on them for that scene. And that at one point when they were doing the ceremony and they cut their wrists, the little like capsule on Katrina's wrist burst and got all over Sam's costume. So they had to stop. They had to go back down the hill, reset, get new, clean his clothes, come back again. So there were all these delays. And they had a wedding like the following week or so, and they managed to like clean everything up and get it done. So it was just so cool to hear her. She was, I don't know, it was just nice. I felt like a lot of the times I was worried that there were going to be tour guides that were just so over the fact that there were all these Outlander fans coming to their country and wanting to see their stuff. But I never felt like that. I never felt like any of these tour guides were like over that. They all really like just embraced it, which was nice.
Yeah. Like Tim in Falkland.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He's wonderful.
He was awesome. He was so like happy to tell us his story about how they used his store in season 2
and how they had to like age it and do all of that, and how they were
Yeah.
inside watching because they only used the exterior.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great.
It was.
I liked him.
Fun facts about filming locations. I feel like I just shared some, but Black Nest with Ray.
Oh my
Oh
god,
my
Black
gosh.
Nest with Ray was
They,
one of the funnest
of course,
things
was my favorite.
ever.
But I also really like Black Nest Castle, and I think
Yes.
the fact that they filmed so much there, but Ray really did it for
He
me.
sold it.
Yes.
Yeah. Sold it. He was our Dougal, and he was just fantastic.
I
But
did not tip. Oh wait, so, Terry's asking if we tipped the tour guides.
We tipped
We did have-
Charlotte.
We did
Yes.
have to pay. We did have to pay for the
Oh,
one
Sarah
church.
for the church.
Yeah.
But no, because
No.
There's
we
a
didn't really
tour
have
Scotland.
tour guides.
Yeah,
Like
there's-
Charlotte was our guide.
Right.
Charlotte was
So,
right.
Black
But Ray
Nest,
did
yeah.
tour us at Black Nest.
Yeah,
So
I saw.
There are several.
I saw your
properties
thing.
that are
I will.
part of the Historic Scotland Society or whatever, and you can purchase a membership, and so that way you pay whatever it was, £50, and that is your admission to these certain places. But there were other places that are either private residences, like Drummond Gardens is actually a private residence.
Mhm.
What did we just talk about? Glen Course was private, so there were other places where you just had to pay cash to get in. But I think
Yes, Ray is the Dougal lookalike.
Ray was the Dougal lookalike, yeah, and
He was so
the
great.
best was Charlotte told us that before, she came on and worked at Black Nest, he had never seen the show, and so she told him he wanted to know what episodes he needed to watch. Like, he's so professional and such a perfectionist that he wanted to really know what he needed to watch in order to understand what was filmed there.
Yeah.
And then I ended up going back and watching just the whole show. But he was so enthusiastic, and he was telling us about how, they would film this exterior where Jamie's going through a doorway, but then he actually comes out over there, and then he'd be climbing up this exterior of this wall, but then it actually shoots out of it. Like, he was just so funny about it. Was the entertainment value.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He was great, and then of course he was the officiant for Maria's surprise hand fasting.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
dressed in full regalia as Dougal.
Oh my God, his Dougal, yeah.
Yeah, down to the details of his sporn was exactly as Dougal's.
Hmm.
He looked so much like a Dougal Mackenzie. It was crazy.
Oh, I know.
Oh, and Charlotte's trying to get him to join over with her, and I think he's considering it.
Shh, don't tell.
What?
I don't think that we're supposed to talk about that.
The hand fasting was so sweet. It was.
I not.
It was
I don't-
awesome.
Think that that's I don't know.
Information.
He told
Move on.
about-
Just
okay, wait.
Well, he
all
might
right.
have, but out there, for historic Scotland and
Will you guys make a list or anything like an itinerary?
yes, we have lists.
I mean, we can list all
Nicole
the
has a
places that we
list.
went.
I have a list.
Right. We will list the places we went.
Yes.
Can't provide our itinerary because that's something that Charlotte planned for us in terms of how we went from place to place and all of that. But
Maria, were you surprised and did you get a new ring?
I was surprised. I did not know that it was going to be all that. I
We
did get a
knew.
ring.
We knew.
So
we knew.
yes,
I didn't
Yeah.
know Dougal Mackenzie was going to be there, though.
I didn't either. Yeah, I was like, when he said, "I'm here to do your hand fasting," I said, "Oh, I'm already married."
Yeah.
Best
Yeah,
when
that was
we were,
very sweet.
We were vamping and trying to kill time because
I'm like, why are we taking so many pictures in front of this grave?
It was Rob Roy's
Rob
grave.
It was Rob Roy, but still, why?
Why?
the best was leading up to poor Charlotte. She was so stressed because she wanted it to go well, and she was had everything kind of planned out, and she had said, you know, I think I'm just going to say like, oh, there's a great place here for us to take photos and yada yada. And so when we're driving and I'm in the passenger seat, and she's saying like, oh, you know, on the way, I thought we could stop here. And like, she was such a good liar.
Yeah.
Such a good job at selling it. But yeah, it was, I think once that was done, the surprise wasn't ruined. You know, she could exhale. But
yeah.
The best though was you peeked through and saw Jamie, and we're like,
I was like, why is he there?
Jamie here?
why is
But
he?
I'm just gonna like, okay.
Yeah.
It was very sweet. It was cool. I liked it.
Which location looked completely different from what you expected? I think this means like Outlander location.
What looked different?
What looked different from what you expected?
Dune Castle for me. Dune Castle is actually a little bit smaller.
The interior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than you expected because they did so many scenes. And after going to the castle, you realize how much they actually filmed, you know, in the studio versus in.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't film any of interior scenes there.
Right.
Or in the courtyard they did.
In the courtyard they did,
But not
yes.
inside. Most of the castles they didn't because they couldn't fit all of the equipment. Like they tried in the kitchen, that one main kitchen when you first went in.
There's no
Yeah.
way.
They said they couldn't make it work where you wouldn't see another camera or the crew members.
Right.
It was a bigger
Although
space, but they kind of used that as the model for Mississippi.
They did use it as the model, yeah. I think at Ardsmuir Castle was probably the one that they did more interior stuff there.
Yeah.
If you go to Dune Castle, make sure that you have the headphones because 3 of the locations, Sam is narrating and telling you about what happened, what Outlander stuff happened at that location. So it's just really nice to listen to.
Yeah, and then there's the bonus one where he talks about learning Gaelic, and it's just him talking. It's not a script; it's just him talking about it, like how he used that as a way to connect with his character. You can tell that it's not a script because he says like and and all that stuff.
Right.
For me, I think it was Glenn Corse, because if you're looking at that shot of the 2 of them with the priest and there are those windows, those are not there. Those are CGI. And so when you're looking at that wall, like I went to do the side by side of the like location and then the the filming shot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's really just it's
so boring.
Stone wall. It's so boring.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't realize how much CGI they would do to age things up or to remove things. Like Frank's grave, they would add in more modern headstones to make it look like it was a more modern grave.
Where they just add greenery and stuff to cover up lights and wires and all that
It was
stuff.
like you're looking at this shot. Like to me, when I think of CGI, I don't think of something like that, like adding in windows.
Right. You're thinking about animals and making things move. Like,
right, or like crowds,
fiction.
or like the back, like if you're in a city shot of like the like far background, all of that. So when we walked in, and she showed us the picture, and she's like, so this is what it looks like, and then this is and you're like, oh, it was like, oh, okay, oh, thank you. So yeah, that to me was surprising.
I'd probably say I was most surprised. Well, I knew that on Craig Nadoon that there weren't any standing stones, but I didn't realize that it's a sheep like haven. It's a sheep land. There's sheep poop everywhere.
That's why I put it in my caption. I was like, fewer stones than anticipated, more sheep poop. Like it was just, you were literally had to like watch. Just all looking down because we're trying to get it. Oh my god!
So many sheep and way more sheep poop.
We went to get a fan and we're all checking our shoes.
I actually had stepped in some, so I had to like clean the bottom of my boot off really good before I got in.
Yeah.
And that's also a private property. So there's like a parking spot, and then you walk up this like kind of not gravel, but drive to get to the actual hill. And we were waiting, and then Charlotte's like, get off the road, the owners are here.
Yeah, We weren't supposed to be walking on the road?
Well, I think it was just so they could get by.
Yeah.
But yeah, that tree, that third tree, if you're looking at the shot with what's supposed to be Inverness in the background, there's
They
that
were all knocked.
tree that was leaning, and now
It's such a bummer, but it's still there. The tree is still there. It's just knocked
yeah,
down.
there's two
Yeah.
of them that went down. But that's the
Mhm.
iconic one, that first one.
Yeah. I mean, when you pull up, you're like, like you
Yeah.
just know
You
because
recognize
just
it.
so that
It's
was the cool
beautiful.
part.
It
Yeah.
is beautiful.
It is
but
beautiful.
Let me just tell you that it is so far out there.
It
We
is.
drove and
Little-
drove and drove. If
Yeah.
somebody asked me like what place would you have not gone to if you knew, that would probably be the place.
And that's what someone wrote to me too. Is there anything you'd leave out of the itinerary if you could? And to me, I think I'm glad we went because we had the time.
Yeah.
I think if it was going to be that, if I had to sacrifice something else in order to do that, I would say no.
Yeah.
I mean, someone said, did it feel magical? I mean, it was cool to be up there because it's like,
Yeah.
it's such an iconic moment in the show, right? There's so many scenes. I mean, when she first goes back and then when he sends her through, I mean, there's just so many moments there. But we couldn't really reenact anything because you couldn't lay down. You'd be covered in sheep poo.
Sheep poo everywhere.
I mean, it was everywhere. We did do a couple like group shots, but we didn't do much fun stuff.
Maria did yoga
Maria did
Oh.
yoga. So did
with Christina.
Christina and I did yoga. Yes, up there.
we were all impressed with Christina's form.
Yes, she was like really good.
Yeah.
Way better than me.
We did not go to the Reverend Wakefield's house. No.
I don't think that we know where that's at.
No.
It wasn't windy up there, was it?
It was
It was.
It was breezy, but not as windy as like Blackness Castle.
Yes, it was like,
God. Yeah.
Blackness Castle
I
was
know.
so windy and so cold. Oh my God.
And you know what was also really windy and cold was University of Glasgow. Remember how windy it was?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It was actually pushing us over with the wind was
Yes.
strong.
that was the windiest of anything, which was surprising.
Yes.
You're like in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Although the last day, you guys were already gone, and Christina and Becca and I went to Edinburgh Castle. It was so windy.
So windy. But it was
Really.
up there too though. Not as windy
Yeah.
as
The cloisters.
go, but
And the views up there were amazing.
I'm sure.
I know, I was bummed. That's the
Next time.
another tip. If you plan on going to Edinburgh Castle, that's one that you can book your tickets in advance. It tends to be like we didn't even think of it, but like in the city of Edinburgh, that's one of the main attractions. So because
Yeah.
we were doing Outlander stuff, we didn't really have any issues with like having to book ahead of time, except for like the private stuff. But for that one, we tried to go on Thursday and they were sold out and they didn't have anything available until the following afternoon. So by that point, Maria, Jim, and I were going to be gone. None of us got attacked by midges. We all
It was
passed
too
bug
cold.
spray, no midges.
yeah.
No
We did
midges.
see some.
You
I
got a single bite, Christina, right?
I don't know if it was a midgie or not. I did
Yeah.
get, but it wasn't like insane.
Um,
No midges. Wait,
We
somebody
saw some
else.
midgies. We saw some midgies at Lollybrook when we went
Yes.
through the
Yeah.
woods there in the creek.
water.
Right.
But we didn't get bit.
No.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
I think we were always wearing too many clothes. Like it was cold, or it was windy, or it was like something where they're not really
Yeah.
bothering you,
Yeah,
or
it
it
was a
wasn't
nice
the right
day
time
that
of
day, though.
day. I don't know.
Yes, Charlotte did book our lodging for us.
Hmm.
Mid-Hope, yeah. Mid-Hope, so if you're at Mid-Hope and you're looking at it like from the road, there's like a little path to the right. And if you go down that path, that's where they filmed the exterior of the Dunbonnet Cave. It's really just like there's nothing there, but Charlotte knew it was there because again, it was CGI, but that's where the exterior shot was. They also filmed Fergus losing his hand over there. And then a little bit further back on the other side of the path is where they filmed the scene where Ian kills
Oh yes,
Horrocks.
Horace.
Horrocks.
Horrocks.
And so it was cool because it was like I didn't think that there would be other locations within that location, so it was cool to see that.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't need anything for midges. None of us really got bothered by them.
Yeah.
Charlotte, Tracy didn't need her face net.
Yes, no face thing needed. We
I'll
did
send
look.
that back.
We couldn't really see over the blue wall, but we all like put our phone over it and took pictures.
Yeah.
And it's like
There
an
definitely
RV.
is some season 7 filming stuff
Yes.
still going on or still cleaning up from it.
Yeah, I think Charlotte was surprised that it was still there. So I think they're done and they just hadn't disassembled everything yet because the Fraser Crest was still there. Some different windows were up. And then of course behind the blue. The thing is, like, there have been other things come up that are spoilery posts. I don't think any of us have shared them though.
I haven't shared any.
Which brings me to someone wanted to know about the secret location we went to. I mean,
It's been posted
It's-
about, but
yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I don't either. I haven't posted anything about it.
There are pictures out of it, but I don't want to I don't want to talk about
want
it because it's
to know
spoilery.
what it was. The most recent picture of Richard show the location, but again, they also don't. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if you see the pictures of him, you kind of understand what the big spoiler would be.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you want to know what it is, you can message us privately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I just didn't want to say because I didn't want anybody like descending on.
Yeah, camping out.
Well, that was the other thing. Like it was still like Charlotte said they had just started. She could tell based on what the location was that they were just ramping up filming, and she didn't want to kind of give away the location and cause this like, because so many fans are traveling to Scotland right now that she didn't want it to be this thing of like her like revealing this location and then causing it to be an issue for production.
right.
So
Yeah.
anyway.
Yes.
Sarah, can you have an episode about what may be coming? I have some ideas. Well, funny you should say that because we're starting book club next week.
Next week. Oh my God.
Next week with Echo and the Boner.
Echo in the Boner. Woohoo.
And, I mean, that's just spoiler territory, full stop, because
Oh yeah.
yeah. So join in.
Join in if you want to be spoiled. All right. They're commenting in the chat.
Yeah, I know. I see that.
Yeah, someone wants us to fill.
If you
We
want
will.
to know,
We
message
will.
separately. We're not going to put it in the anyway. Since we've been to Scotland, do we see the Outlander show and books differently?
Differently how?
Just
That it's not real.
Really?
I have a deeper understanding for like what production has to do, like
What they have to go through.
right. like when we saw, again, I'm going to keep talking about Glen Course, but what she was saying, how when they bought the property, it was this old kirk was kind of in ruins, so they did a lot to rebuild it and like renovate it. And then when production came through and wanted to film there, it looked too new and too like plain, so they had to, like, age it up and make it, because it's supposed to be this old church that's kind of in disrepair. It doesn't have windows, and so there was a drain pipe that they hung like weeds over to cover, because there were certain things that they couldn't they couldn't just alter. So that part for me was fascinating to see how they had to change these locations and add and take away. So to me that was interesting. I view the books, although now I want to watch. Be like, I went there.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah. I think for me, part of it was like, because we went to the kirkyard and church where they did the witch trial. And then knowing that the one part of the witch trial when Claire and Galus and what's the lawyer, Ned, are in that room talking about which one's going to give it up,
Mhm.
you know, who's going to the fucking barbecue. That was filmed at a completely different location.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't realize like how much is in a studio.
Right.
And how they kind of like blend it all together and you don't even realize.
Well, it wasn't filmed in a studio.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. It was filmed at a different location.
Right. But I'm saying like I'm
Which
thinking
we didn't
about
go to. We didn't go to.
we didn't,
We
go,
didn't go
to
to that. No.
I'm thinking about like at Dune Castle with the kitchen is what I was thinking of. That they had taken a lot of that stone and the coloring and everything and used it to make a kitchen
Yeah.
That big art
in the studio.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they modeled it after that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the other thing that made me think of? Oh, when we were at Black Nest and Ray was talking about like there was the window that we see when Jamie says, "Oh, thank you to take."
Oh my God. Hi,
And it was
Ivy.
a small little window, and
Yeah.
when they did it in the studio, they had to build a wider window so Sam could actually fit in the window jam. So it was cool because he was like, "That's the window it's supposed to be."
Yeah.
And it looked the same, you know. It had so it was just. I thought the like movie magic side of it was really cool. It had to
I know.
piece together these different like the minds that it takes to like figure out how they're gonna puzzle this together to have it make sense.
Well, and when he was talking at Black Nest about how, you know, Jamie's here and then he runs over here, but he comes out here, and just all that and just all the different
Shots
and stuff of that, I was just like, oh my
I
God.
never thought about any of it. You know, like
not only that, but how they had to cover all the railing in wood.
yes.
Can you imagine the work entails?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Same thing at
Oh my God.
Bakehouse closed. They had to change things and even when he was like, so when they're looking down and Claire's like, are you sure there's water down there? And he's like, well, actually there's not. So please keep it up because people go
Yeah.
flat.
Oh, well, something too I wanted to bring up because you're talking, you know, about Glen Course and how they had to make it look old. So there was a wedding that was supposed to be taking place and filming had gone on longer than they anticipated. So there was like a wedding. They just finished filming and like a day or two later, there was going to be a wedding there. And the production, or I don't know, is it production or whoever, the people who renovate or put things back together, they worked all night to make sure that the church was back to the way it would be and was ready for this wedding. But just the crew was, you know, like all the work that they do at these locations. I don't think that we can even understand how much they do. And it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I mean, the set dressing and then having to disassemble it. And then if they use that location again, having to redo it all. Yeah, she said they were like sweating because they had really fit the filming of the wedding into this like tight window of time. And things were delaying it, like I talked about with the blood and that, you know, she's like, there were all these little things that caused filming to take longer than anticipated. So they had this wedding that was happening and the bride was like wanting to come and see the location and they couldn't of course say what was happening. They could only tell her that no, you can't come.
Right.
So yeah, but she said production did such a phenomenal job. She was probably cleaner than it ever would have been. And she was talking about how, you know, the production company really does have to have that reputation because these are historic sites, you know. We take them for granted, but these places are hundreds of years old, and so in order to get permission to film there, they have to have that reputation of respecting what's, you know, like think about like filming at Culloden, like it can't be like they're exploiting it at all. So
No.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Can we?
what?
I was gonna say. Can we talk about our funniest moment?
That's. I've got.
Is that next?
I have one more Outlander question, and it's an easy one. Did we see filming? No, we did not.
No.
We saw evidence of filming. We did not see filming. Yes, the Culloden Seed was filmed there, didn't they? I thought they did.
They
I
filmed
thought
there in season 3 when she goes and visits the Fraser,
The Rock.
Well, that for sure.
the
Yeah.
Fraser Stone. Yeah.
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 But they didn't film there like the battle and all that. That was not
No. But Claire going to visit the.
filmed. Claire going to visit was there.
Yeah.
It was filmed there.
All right, rankings. Favorite must-see spot. Must-see spot. You're going there for Outlander. You're building your itinerary. What's the one thing people have to go and see?
Mid-Hope.
Mid-Hope.
The,
Mid-Hope.
wait, what was the question?
Slapstick Happy.
The favorite must-see spot?
Must-see Outlander spot.
Outlander.
The Gardens of Versailles. I'm sorry, Drummond Castle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely one. Are we listing like top 5 or we're just?
This was just your favorite must-see spot.
Oh,
The Gardens of Versailles. Becca would say the Hermitage. That was her favorite place.
Yeah.
Most people probably don't know. Let's talk about the Hermitage and what that is, because people probably don't know what that is.
Well, I talked about it a little bit at the beginning. It was because Charlotte talked about it in the van. She was telling us about how her family would go there every Sunday after Sunday roast, and they would just go there no matter how far away they lived. They would drive to the Hermitage, and it was this beautiful forest with the waterfall and
Well, it was
whatever.
it was a duke who decided he wanted a beautiful place to go to full of nature. So it's a tree garden.
right.
Right.
Tree garden.
It's,
Right.
It's now like a nature preserve. But they filmed a lot of the Fraser's Ridge scenes there that are not on like a full lot. So
From season 4. They filmed a lot of season 4 stuff
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, like the outside when Jamie takes Willie fishing.
yeah,
You know, she had
Yeah.
mentioned that. You know, that kind of stuff is
stuff with the Native Americans that
Right.
was there. But it was like this last minute decision of whether or not we could go, and we were running out of time. It was our trip back from Inverness, and Charlotte was so freaking tired.
She was so tired, but she was like, "I know we don't have time for
Go.
this, but I gotta take you here." And so she did, and I was so glad that she did.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was Becca's favorite place, and we spent a lot of time there. It was
In terms of-
amazing.
Yeah. In terms of Outlander stuff, I mean, I think Mid-Hope is like the iconic, like Mecca. I will say, I mean, in terms of an interesting place, like you kind of just you see the exterior when you walk up and you sit on the steps. There's not much else to do there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's like oh my God, I have to go. I mean, I think
If you're an Outlander fan,
you're going to go there.
you're
Right.
gonna go there.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's my like must
Oh,
see.
before Craig Nadoon, obviously, too. I mean, if you had to pick. Since Craig Nadoon is so
The Craignet Dune is so far
Yeah.
away.
right, and it's not really worth it because there's not really stones there. So
No.
I mean, it was cool to be there, and like I said, like it fit into our itinerary, so we went. But if
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could move it, I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know what my must see spot. I mean, now I'm like looking back at our location we went to. I mean, again,
My top 3 were Ardsmuir Castle, which was Craig's Millar Castle, the Gardens of Versailles, and the Hermitage. Those were Becca's top 3 also.
I had Glencoe, Mid-Hope, and Hermitage is what I had.
Glencoe was amazing. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Glencoe.
I mean, to me, I think the best ones were the ones where you kind of look around and maybe from the outside you don't recognize it right away, but as you walk, like Craig Miller, you walk in and you instantly recognize certain like shots that were seen.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that was really cool to me. I really
I
liked
think-
Black Ness.
Black
Yeah.
Ness was awesome.
I feel like because it's Charlotte's favorite filming location, we have to say Black Ness.
I loved Black Ness. Black Ness was awesome.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
castle too.
I think
Well-
any castle that has so many nooks and crannies, though,
Oh,
is just
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's why I liked that Craig Miller so much, because it had
Mhm.
so many like
It had so many.
it was
So
so
many.
cool to run it because I had my friend ask me, she's like, what was your favorite part of like Scotland? I said I loved running around the castles and like just like thinking about what could have been here, or you know,
And
how
this-
were the rooms set up, or how did they
and
live
this-
in this?
And the spiral staircases that
I
never
know
end.
they're amazing to me. Every castle that we went to, I took a picture of the way like these spiral staircases are engineered because it was amazing to me, and they're all like that same
Yes.
like
Black
circular
Ness.
thing. I don't know. It's just unreal.
Fort William.
Black Ness in the show is Fort Williams.
Mhm.
Most exciting thing about our trip. I'm waiting for the cheesy answer.
The most exciting thing?
Yes.
Oh, there's so many. I don't know.
I just have to say though, that first day that we were with Charlotte and we weren't yet sleep deprived and we laughed our asses off.
Yeah,
How
all day.
sad. Okay, so that first day with Charlotte, let me just review what we did. Okay, we did Mid Hope, we did Falkland, which was Inverness, we did Abercorn Church, we did Black Ness Castle, Mrs. Baird's, Alex Randall, where he died, Galis's house, the Black Kirk, Balrigan, the Stones, Kuras, and our secret location in one day.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I don't know that I've ever laughed so hard than at those damn stones.
Oh my god, that was hilarious.
That and
Those Tory, is it Tory Burn
That's what it
stones?
was. Yeah, there's the cheesy answer. Being together.
Oh my god.
There it is.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just being together and just laughing our asses off.
Yeah,
Being
that was
so
so funny.
stupid, silly.
Oh, it was so
And Becca, you know, she is not an Outlander fan. She's never watched Outlander. She was just cracking. She was crying also just watching us.
It's because we were so stupid. I was saying to myself, like, here we are, a bunch of jackasses. Like, I'm like, anyone who's driving by, thank God it was a busy road because we, it was so dumb.
It was so dumb.
So
But it was so much fun though.
But we had, I mean, I got in the car and I think I my stomach hurt from laughing and I had tears streaming down my face. All my makeup was gone because I had been like wiping. It was so funny. Meanwhile, Jim's in the car like,
I know. He's like, I'm not getting out of the
He's
car.
like,
for
what are they
this."
doing?
I'm like, you have to. You have to record us being like.
Did he record us?
no.
I don't think he did. I think Charlotte did, but
Yeah.
because I don't think he really got out there. He was like,
I mean,
So that day at the Stones, and then also when we went to the Black Kirk, which I think was the next day. I don't even know.
that was the same day.
It was
The same day, popping out of the weed.
popping out of the
But we
wheat.
were in the wheat.
fucking wheat. Oh my god.
And I can't stop laughing about that stones.
But Tracy, why was it so funny?
Well, we were on our knees trying to pop out of this wheat,
At the same time.
and I could not pop out fast enough because my damn knees.
No, they were at Tory Burn. It was.
yeah,
I got it right.
Yeah, it was
I can't pronounce it.
yeah.
think that's
Isn't
what it's
that what
called.
it was?
Tory,
That was-
yeah,
No.
it's called Toryburn.
No, the Tory Burn was the location we went to.
those were those standing stones
were
that
the
were just
stones.
on the
Oh,
highway.
I just that's the standing stones.
I don't know. I don't even know. But anyway, yeah, the
Wow.
damn wheat. Oh my god, I don't even know how many times we popped out of that damn wheat.
It was
I almost wet
four,
my
but we
pants.
only got one usable shot.
I almost wet my pants.
Well, we all had to
Oh my god, we were laughing
pee,
so hard.
and we're squatting in the weeds, and we're like, oh my god.
That was the tallest
Yes,
wheat
it
I've
was
ever
wheat.
seen.
It was.
Yeah, it wasn't bar. Well, Charlotte said it
No.
was wheat.
It was
Yeah.
wheat.
I trust her.
It was really tall. It was freaking awesome.
All right. Best thing and worst thing during our stay.
I don't know that there is a worse thing.
Yeah.
I didn't bring enough shirts. I
I
had to
mean,
go
yeah, I
shopping
didn't-
and buy clothes.
I didn't wear half the stuff that I brought. We did not visit any distilleries, no.
Oh.
I went to
And then-
one, but when Jim and I were together, we went to Tory. Is it Tory? Oh my God, what's it called? Not Tory
On Mole?
Burn.
Did you go to
On
Mole?
Mole. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, Tabamori.
Yeah.
Best thing / worst. I don't know. I mean, I think honestly, I think the best thing for me was just because Mid Hope was our first location. I mean, we happened upon Bakehouse close, but Mid Hope was the first one where we like drove somewhere, got out of the car, and we're like, oh my God. Like we were all in awe, just the fact that it was like we were finally here. It felt like that was the first moment we all kind of really realized, holy
Yeah.
crap, you know, we're here, we're doing this together. That was, to me, that was the best moment because we all were just like
So excited.
so excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Worst thing,
Jim said Pierre.
Who's Pierre?
our dad's circle.
Less.
KT.
Sheep's head in, guy.
Oh.
Yeah. Pierre.
I don't know if I had a worst thing.
I didn't have a worse thing.
Well,
I mean, Becca got pooped on by a seagull.
Oh, that's right.
She was so bummed about that.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Tobermory, I can't ever say it right. So a note to everybody out there, don't pack your full-sized bottle that you just bought at a distillery in your carry-on luggage. And then you have to throw it away when you go through security.
Did you do that?
why would you do that?
I didn't do that. Somebody with the first name that begins with a J did that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's
We're
painful.
so upset.
Yeah.
2 bottles
that's a
of
bummer.
stuff he had to
Yeah.
throw away. I'm like, oh my God. So,
Yeah.
Yikes.
yeah.
I don't think there was a worse thing. I can't think of any negative thing really that happened.
Agreed.
We didn't even mention going to Paul's gym.
Oh, we'll get there.
Well, that
Walk
was
to the
fun.
witchery.
Oh, the walk to the witchery. Yeah, that was.
That was the negative thing right there.
I don't know. I don't have a. I mean, there were definitely like hiccups along the way, but it was never anything drastic that I was like really upset.
No.
You know.
Did we have a hard time flying back?
No, I
No.
was ready. I have to say
I was ready to. It was hard to say goodbye, but at the same time, I was ready to come home.
that's one of the things that I keep like people keep asking me about my trip, and it was like I was fine leaving Scotland because we saw so much, we did so much. It sucked leaving all of you because it was like
Yeah.
that was the longest we had spent together,
Yeah.
and who knows when that'll happen again. So that
Right.
was what made me.
I was just glad that we all still liked each other when we left.
No, I was like so
I was
happy
like,
that Chris
this is gonna be the longest that we've
along.
seen each other. I hope they still like me.
is.
Same. Even Ruth's
Kaka!
gonna
No, the Royal
That's
Mile
awesome.
itself. I mean, it is on a hill, but it's not steep. Just
It's not as steep as like some of the other, like
Oh,
our first rookie witchery
Oh my
walk.
God.
That was
That was
most beautiful spot. I mean, Glencoe for me.
Glencoe.
Yeah. Glencoe was amazing.
The whole drive up. You know, we stopped at that one spot that had that bridge. Remember?
Oh yes.
Because it was like everywhere we looked, there was something beautiful, and we weren't stopping. In Charlotte,
I know.
thought
I was
we were-
like
we were all,
freaking
like,
out.
chomping at the bit to get out and like look around and take pictures. And so she finally was like, "Here's a spot where we can get out."
Yeah.
We all were like rabid, taking photos.
Yes. At the window constantly, and like, yeah, taking pictures, and then half of them don't come out clear because you're doing it out the window, but you just can't help it.
We couldn't do Holyrood because royals were staying there. Prince Charles was there, so we couldn't go.
No Jacobite train; it was already sold out.
Jacobite train was sold out. I was bummed about that.
We all live in Connecticut, Tennessee,
Ohio.
Ohio, New York. So Christina and I are relatively close, but it's still about 3 hours.
Close but far away.
Too far away.
Yes. I did not see any bidets at any place that I stayed. I mean, they're all regular toilets.
Oh,
Somebody asked about bidets
Oh,
or regular
bidets.
toilets.
Oh.
They're just regular toilets.
Yeah, I didn't see any bidets.
What surprised us the most?
I already said that. That we also liked each other at the end.
Oh,
Yes, Sarah, I did. The steep hills. I did not expect that. Even in Oban it was like that, and I just didn't. I didn't realize it.
I didn't know either that Edinburgh was so hilly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see.
I was like surprised by any. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that the haggis was so good.
okay, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
How about you, Christina?
I don't think I was. I think the only thing I was surprised about that I felt like going to Edinburgh didn't feel like I was in a foreign country. It felt like very comfortable, very like at home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Usually I've gone to different places and you know you're in a different country. You could feel the difference, but there just felt like I knew it already. I mean, I didn't know it, but I felt so comfortable. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder too if it's because I was thinking about that as well. Like the foreign countries I visited before all spoke a different language. So I think for me, that was a huge part of it. Like that was one of my saddest things. And I said it in the group chat of like being back in the States and having to listen to American accents again. I took for granted that everywhere I went, it was like these amazing Scottish accents.
Yes. It was so wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Like, even at one point, Christina and I were on the flight to, was it Heathrow to Edinburgh? We were delayed a couple times. And the crew member gets on and he's explaining all the reasons for the delays and he's apologizing. And I'm like, he could take a dump in my food and apologize in that voice. And I still would say, it's totally fine.
Totally fine.
It just didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part, they were easy to understand. There were a couple of times where I just was like, like just nodding because it was like they were talking fast and in the Scottish accent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite thing / least favorite thing we ate.
I don't think I ate a least favorite thing. Everything was good.
One thing that I didn't care for when we were on Mull, we stopped at this little place and I had ordered a French onion soup and it was so weird. It was not French onion soup.
I did the black pudding.
And the black pudding I did
the
not
black
care
pudding.
for. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did not like the black pudding. So those are my two things.
Didn't we get your reaction on video?
Yes,
somewhere?
you recorded it.
I recorded it.
Somebody did.
I think,
Yeah. Yeah, Nicole, you
It was
recorded
the
it.
first
Yes.
morning, so I have it recorded. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't have a least favorite thing I ate. I mean, I enjoyed all of my food at the kitchen. That strawberry sorbet was unreal.
Good.
I also really liked my breakfast at Scran. I mean, that French toast
That was great.
with mascarpone. That was. I gave some to Tracy, and this is what she did.
It was so good.
It was very good. Yeah.
Like I said, not only beautiful, but really, really tasty too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the Wonky Donkey. After I saw that video, I bought the book for my kids. It's the best. Favorite city / town?
I really liked Falkland a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to have.
Ross too.
Yeah, I was
Cool
going to say,
Ross was really cool.
Cool. I kept saying as we were walking around there, I'm like, I could totally live here.
Yeah.
In those little tiny cottagey houses. It just was so quiet and just like it was a peaceful place.
Yeah.
It was a little too quiet for me. I
Ooh,
think that's
I
why I
liked
liked
it.
Falkland better.
Yeah,
There was more people out.
I think my issue though with those smaller little towns is like there's not a whole lot to do. You know,
No.
I'm not I like the idea of living in a city. If I was going to live in a city, it would probably be one like Edinburgh because there's
I
a
did
lot,
like Edinburgh.
you know.
Yeah.
Ross is quaint and beautiful, but there's not a lot to do.
No.
I did not like Tablet. It was too sweet for me.
I didn't care for Tablet either. It was okay.
Wait, what's Tablet?
Tablet, Jim and Maria bought it. It had like that layer of chocolate on the top and was like that brown kind of, it was okay. I thought
Yeah, and I had some at when Jim and I were walking around, we went into a candy store and the guy had some there that like he made at his candy store, and we tried it and it was just okay. I
I
mean,
don't remember.
it was
that at
very sweet. You might
Yeah.
not have had some because he took it out in the car and offered it to everybody if you
No,
wanted to try it.
all. The only thing I remember trying was that. Was it fudge?
that's what we thought
It was in a.
wasn't.
It was in a bag.
Yeah, and it was like, looked like maybe a caramel layer and then chocolate on the top, and it wasn't fudge, it was Tablet. Because they offered it to Charlotte, and she's like, no, I don't like Tablet.
Mm-hmm.
So,
We didn't really spend a lot of time in Glasgow. We were
No.
supposed to have a Glasgow day, but we did other stuff instead.
Yeah, because our Glasgow day, pretty much. Well, we went to
Girls
Glasgow
threw
for
it.
the meetup.
through it to get to Paul's gym, which is not.
Yeah,
It says it's boxing Glasgow. It's not Glasgow. It's like
It's not in Glasgow.
It's
it's
more
like
like Glasgow.
mid something.
It's a little bit outside of Glasgow.
Yeah, it's a lot outside Glasgow. So we really
Yeah.
didn't get to go. We thought it was more towards the city, but it wasn't. But yeah,
we
so
did go
we
to
went
the
to
Slouch Bar in Glasgow.
that's what.
and
Yeah, we
They
went to the
had some-
Slouch. Yeah, that was.
They had some very nice margaritas.
yes, those.
Yeah, they really were good.
I
They
mean,
were
I
good.
think Charlotte really summed it up well for us. She said, you know, if you're looking for something that's going to look like what you expect Scotland to look like, go to Edinburgh.
Right.
Glasgow is more of an industrial city. It's
Right.
used a lot in filming to double for cities like New York City and Chicago.
Chicago.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't have that like quaint, picturesque kind of old city look to it.
Yeah.
We were there for Slouch Bar, and then we kind of drove through it and around it on our last day with Charlotte.
And when we went to the University of Glasgow,
Yeah.
but that's really it. Those were the only
The
things.
city itself. But even still, like we were driving through it, it's not a pretty city.
I mean, everybody said, "Oh, don't go to Glasgow."
Yeah. Glad we did because I thought I really enjoyed our time at the gym.
I would have liked to have gone to the botanical gardens, but
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
that's just another
Next
trip,
time,
so,
that's
yeah.
for another trip.
Yeah.
Sam lives outside of Glasgow.
Mm-hmm.
No, we
Let's.
did not go to his house.
We did not go to his house. If it's not on the itinerary.
It wasn't on the itinerary.
All right. Favorite castle?
Ardsmuir, Craig Schmillar.
Craig Miller.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Black Ness. I liked Craig Miller.
We haven't talked about Stirling,
Sterling. Oh,
really. Stirling Castle
Stirling-
was beautiful too.
The garden was beautiful at Sterling.
The garden, yes, the
I-
gardens at
Yeah.
Stirling were gorgeous.
I enjoyed the outside of Stirling
Yeah.
way
Right.
more than the inside.
Great.
Mhm.
same.
The garden was gorgeous. Also, you guys sadly missed out on Edinburgh Castle.
Right.
I know.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And we spent 2 hours there on Friday.
Friday.
And Becca and I had to say goodbye to Christina there. And we still didn't see all of it
Yeah.
after 2 hours.
Wow.
So- It was big. It was huge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, most of the Outlander people live in Glasgow while filming, so it's not a secret that most of them live in Glasgow. So.
Yeah, that's where the, Hyde Ward Park Studios is nearby, and
Hey, Eddie.
Yay!
um,
Jim's tip is eat before 6 p.m. or starve. Because, it got late and then it was like still daylight and you're like, oh my God, it's 8 o'clock. And then like nothing's
Yeah.
open and
The
you're
only
like
thing that's
starving.
open is McDonald's.
Or Tesco Express. And then you're going to go get some like packaged thing.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, one night we ended up getting snacks at Tesco. Another night, 4 of us got McDonald's, Uber Eats delivered to the hotel,
Yeah.
which honestly was the best.
It was the best McDonald's I've ever had.
All right, was there anything overrated or disappointing? Like anything we went to that you thought was overrated or disappointing?
No.
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 I think Craig Nadoon's probably overrated, only because it's going to carve out a huge chunk of your itinerary to get there.
Yeah.
I loved it anyways.
I'm glad that we went
I'm
to
glad we
it,
went to it. Yeah.
But again, yes, it's so far. It's so
Mhm.
far. And if you don't have the time to go, don't bother going.
We did not, Sarah. We did
Sorry, Sarah.
That
But
was-
Jim did get a lot of pickle or a lot of salami.
Ed.
Yeah.
No, I got
That.
grapes because they don't have a lot of fruits and veggies
Oh,
there. I got
that's my tip.
grapes.
I will say, make sure you find a way to get your roughage in, because there's not a whole lot of fruits, vegetables. I mean, in
No.
Scotland, a side of vegetables on your plate is a scoop of
It's peas.
cheese.
They were always just garnished, though. It's not even like a
Yeah,
full.
They weren't
My
even, yeah.
salad like this much of like
A mixed green.
mixed greens with
Yeah.
dressing. So if you want to keep things moving,
Yeah.
make sure you find a way to get some fresh fruit, some vegetables, some fiber in your diet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you guys had the porridge every morning, but
I
I
had the
don't.
porridge.
It
I
did not
didn't eat
help.
the porridge.
It
I
did
went
not
to Tesco and bought the grapes because that's what does it for me. So
Someone wanted our top 10 things we did. I think that's really hard to do.
top 10?
Yeah, we were that on the trip and it was hard. We were like,
Yeah.
Well, Charlotte had asked us as we were leaving the Hermitage what our top 5 Outlander sites would be. And we had said Mid-Hope, Drummond, I think Black
Dune.
Ness, Dune, and oh god, what was the other one?
Craig Millar.
We had
We hadn't gone there yet. Probably the Hermitage.
because that was our last day with her. For me, we didn't say the Hermitage because we thought like it's not accessible for everyone.
right.
Yeah.
I
But
had said Glencore,
Oh.
the wedding,
Mm,
but
yeah.
I mean, Cool Ross is great because you get like a bunch of different locations there, but they're all kind of like Mid-Hope is Lollybrook.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to Cool Ross, you get to see Galus's house, Leary's house,
Galus's garden,
Galus's garden,
Mhm.
which I took a picture of
and the Black
posted.
Kirk is right there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. I think part of the reason Becca liked
the Hermit.
the Hermitage so much also because it reminded her of Harry Potter, and she's a Harry Potter fan.
Yeah. It was beautiful there, and Charlotte was like, "There's a smell when you get there."
It was awesome. I
Nope.
loved the Hermitage so much. I was so glad she took us there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then I had a category that was reflection / in hindsight. Anything would leave out of our itinerary.
Nothing.
No.
I loved everything we did. I don't know that I could keep out anything.
Agreed.
I know.
And I think to be realistic, I think our itinerary was jam packed. I think for most people, it won't be that jam packed because
It won't
No.
be.
late into the night. Like instead of coming back at like 6 or 7 at our hotel, we came back at like 10, 11 at night,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all exhausted. So we definitely pushed a lot into our schedule to do a lot. So, you know,
Yeah.
I think if I was going to leave something out, I would have left out University of Glasgow. Because that was like, it was pretty to see the cloisters, but it was kind of like, all right, we were cold and it was just,
It was so cold and so
if
windy.
Glasgow is not really part of your itinerary anyway, and you're going to make a trip there just for, I would say, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Probably not yeah. I would probably skip Glasgow altogether.
I would go back because I'm curious just to see more of that city. I mean, we didn't really see
No,
it
I mean,
hardly at
if-
all.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
I go back to
Yeah.
Scotland someday, I would love to go visit it. But if I had to leave something out of this trip that we just did,
Oh, to leave it out.
It would be Glasgow.
Yeah, and like Charlotte said, Glasgow is not considered Scottish enough because it's so industrial.
For a tourist, yeah.
Yeah.
Honey and Hamish.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can't
honey.
forget about Honey and Hamish. The
That
Harry
reminds-
Coos.
That reminds me, I found this shop that had these little glass. I like the little glass figurines. And I found
Oh,
these
cute.
shoes.
Yeah.
Aren't they
Yes.
cute?
We
I like
were
them.
out of Edinburgh every night except for our
Inverness
Inverness
night.
night, which was Monday.
Hmm.
We didn't do any of the islands.
No islands.
We just
Yeah.
didn't have time.
I went just because I went early
Yeah.
with my husband, and we went to Oban and we went to Isle of Mull. But that was separate. But yeah, I mean, to go back and do the islands, that's like one thing that people don't realize is that how long it takes to get
Right.
around in Scotland. It's not like just a quick scoot to Glasgow, quick scoot to the islands. I mean,
Well,
Which
it
is
takes a long time.
if you're looking at the country,
Yeah.
it's deceiving because it's not
Yes.
a country. But to get there, there's no straight shot anywhere. And to get to a lot of the islands, you either have to book a flight or book a ferry. And of course, then you're bound to their schedule.
Right.
It's not like something you can do in a day, like go up, do an island, come back. Like you have to dedicate a full, like, 30
You'd have to dedicate a
hours.
trip
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
to going to islands, and that's all you do.
And like I was thinking about, if I were to go back, I don't think I would want to repeat anything we've done. I would want to.
I would go. Yeah, oh yeah.
Did so much that I would want to do the islands and the Highlands.
Yep.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Anything we would do differently or missed?
we missed.
I wish that. I mean, we drove through like Loch Ness, but we didn't stop and see Loch Ness really.
Yeah.
That I wish we could have
Any of
seen it. I mean, we saw it in the car, like kind of driving through.
We
but
saw a lot of little villages.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we did get.
That reminded me of
What was the one that was closed?
the one that was closed.
Sandringham
The
Oh,
Hopeton House.
Hopeton House.
House. Yeah, that was closed for private events. We couldn't go there.
Mhm.
You wanted to see Tracy, the street where Claire and Frank decide to get married.
That
Oh,
was
right.
Yes,
Glasgow.
that was in
Yeah.
Glasgow, and I think I was there when
Did
Charlotte and
wanna
I
see that.
met, because that's where we met up. And she's like, "I should have told you, like, because you were right there where it was, but I didn't
What'd
tell you to
call
look."
it?
Yeah.
The St.
And
Square or
It's
something.
George Square, yeah.
yeah.
St.
And
George
Holyrood.
Hollywood.
Oh, that was closed
too. That was
because
closed.
of the Royals.
Prince
Oh.
William was there.
But all the little villages, they just reminded. Every time we drove through a little village, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this reminds me of when Roger and Bree and that one part of the book."
Every time we drove through any like quaint street. It didn't have to be a village. It could just be a street. This reminds me of that one scene where in the books where Bree and Roger are walking through Inverness, and then we go to another. This reminds me of that. And then it
I'd be like, "Remember that time in the book when Roger and Bree? Remember that time in the book when Roger and Bree?" Yeah. Every little village reminded me of when Roger and Bree.
Oh,
Did we get to keep the boxing gloves? No, we did not.
No.
no.
I am a romantic. Thank you.
Look, kids, Big Barn Parliament. Yeah. That's our, like, we didn't want our trip to be like that. Like, we got out, we looked at places, we weren't like, Big Ben Parliament. Or, like, when he goes to, okay, yeah, we saw the Grand Canyon, now it's time to go. You're like,
Right.
we didn't really want that.
I mean, I think, and that was part of the reason why our tour started so early and ended so late every day, because Charlotte didn't want to rush us. She was like, I've had tours where the people literally just want to get out, snap a photo, and get back in the car. You guys are really enjoying yourselves and soaking it all in. She didn't want to rush us. So, I mean, we had originally, when we first met with her, asked her to, like, kind of time out how long she thought we would need at each place, because we were trying to figure out, like, meals, like, for dinner. Are we going to be back in time to do dinner? Should we plan on grabbing something on the road these days? Like, we wanted to start booking reservations, and she had said most days we'd be back by like 6 or 7.
Right.
And we never were.
Right.
No.
We never
And
were.
or any of my dinner clothes that we packed. So
No. The first night, Christine and I, we ironed all of our clothes and hung them all up, and we didn't wear any of them.
closet until we had to repack them back into
I
our
was like, this is a sin. We just did all this like ironing, and they're gonna all get wrinkled. It was funny.
yeah.
Souvenirs. What were your favorite souvenirs?
My favorite souvenirs were the little glass things that I got. This one, I got 2 coups. I gave one to Becca.
Hair.
Oh yeah, you got those rings.
So
And then I got
matching roomy rings. So I have a little bumblebee ring. I posted these in my stories. And then it says Dami Bazia Mile.
sweet.
Ring.
Aw.
Those are really cute.
Yeah.
I got a little glass unicorn.
Oh, cute.
And then one of my favorite things that I got though was my lollipop, my lollipop steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a little B&B on the because Mid Hope is actually like a full estate, and when we were there, we stayed at a little B&B that Charlotte knew the guy who runs it, and he had a lot of background knowledge. He's been on set when they were filming and things like that, and when they put the steps up to film Lollybrook, they were not the originals, and so after a while they started to fall away from the actual like facade of the building, and they were crumbling, and so he went and like chipped away at them. I have mine somewhere, and so he gave us all little like packages with pieces of the steps from Lollybrook. So we all got a piece of the set.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yes, here's mine. And mine are all. This is my bag of
I haven't
assorted
opened it.
strange things that I picked up
I
from
have to open mine.
the road.
I haven't opened mine either.
I'm gonna do it now.
I brought home
Live.
so many freaking rocks.
Me
and-
too.
Rock.
That's what this bag is, just like all rocks and pine
Pine
cones.
cones from
Pine cones.
Pine cones from the Outlander.
yeah. One was from Glencore's. So we had pine cones from their wedding site. So here's my piece of the step of a Lollybrook.
Here's yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to open mine.
Yeah, my
No, I
pack's
didn't.
far away to go get.
Put it back in.
I
don't
have
wanna undo-
shells from
I don't
Black
wanna open
Nest.
this thing.
Has a little.
There was an area I found that had shells.
It says Lollybrook Steps Season 1.
Mm-hmm. Mine says Lollybrook Steps Season 1.
And I
Shocker.
took some poppy seed heads so I could grow the poppies at my house.
I also
or at least
brought home
try
some
to.
Heather.
Nice. What'd you say, Tracy?
I said I also brought home some heather.
I
I put it.
Yes.
So
Oh,
I
yeah.
put it in my
Charlotte.
book.
got a I
Too.
picked some heather at Culloden to dry.
Yeah,
My
flower.
thistle didn't make it.
Mhm.
My thistle made it, and then it browned up when I tried to dry it out. So I have it, but it doesn't look that great.
I have it too. It's just brown.
I think
Yeah.
that
So
Brown.
made more sense if I had like pressed it right away.
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. Somebody had sent me a question about like, what would you not bring next time? And I said I brought books and stuff, but I said I would still bring one travel book so I could press flowers, because that's what I did. Is I ended up getting paper towels and I pressed my
Oh,
flowers.
you picked a ton of flowers.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
the other souvenir that I liked. Tracy and I both got a book that was written about Outlander and the Jacobites. So it goes through a scene from the show, and then it goes into the history behind like what was really happening. Do you have it with you? I don't have mine. Mine's downstairs. But anyway, yeah. I wish. Sarah, what was your thing? Why didn't you do what? Oh,
I don't know.
Tracy's frozen.
So, oh, Jim said his favorite souvenir was the beer glass that he stole from the World's End. Thanks, Jim, for telling everybody.
How did he
Then
do that?
hopefully Maria's is her ring.
Well, no, I was going to say mine is my hand fasting ties.
Oh, you still have knotted. That's great.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have. Yeah, I'm not going to take the knot out. So
True.
yeah,
The whole, yeah.
but yeah, so these are the hand fasting things. So shout out to Carol at Scottish Keepsake. She was a big help too in helping plan this. So when I went to visit her, like the first day I was in Scotland, I went to visit her, and in her little shop, and she so sneakily was like, had all these tartans out, and she's like, which ones are your favorite? And I'm like, oh,
Oh, so
okay.
you like
So
your own tartans when you went to
yeah, so she let me pick the ones that I like. So I picked like some of my favorite ones. So that's what she ended up using in here.
Oh my
So
money.
Back. Okay.
yeah.
Here, let me see if Tracy's back. Nope, that's not her. All right, so this is the book. It's called Outlander and the Real Jacobites by Shauna Kinsella. And it's, look at the back.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you saying that you bought that.
So it goes through, like, it'll talk about what happened in the show. So, like, after Jamie's escape from Wentworth, he and Claire flee to France, and it goes through, like, the storyline, but then gives the context of what was happening in history at the time. So Tracy's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to read this, but we both bought it. I'm trying to let you in. Anyway.
Let me in.
I know. I have 48 questions. 49 now.
Oh my God.
49 questions in that little circle that we're going to get to after. So that's the book.
I bent down to pick up my book and came back and I was like off.
Well, you froze.
Rose.
And then,
Oh no, Instagram decided to lock me out.
oh, it's been a while since that happened to you.
I mean, always during a live. What the fuck?
Then we were in Falkland, the same shop where we got our rings. The shop that was the exterior of season 1, episode 1, when Claire's looking through at the vase.
The vase, yeah.
These like little cards. So I got this one that has Jamie.
Yeah, I got those
Jamie
too.
Ghost.
Oh yeah, I got those too. Those are really pretty.
It was to use them as thank you cards, and then I was like, no, I want to keep them.
Yeah, I'll frame them.
I'm keeping them. They might end up over here somewhere because my calendar.
Oh yeah.
January 2022 might need to come down. Yeah, Fair Earth.
Mhm.
Did you guys get these ones too?
I did.
I didn't.
Yes, I got those.
These were only a pound each.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got those. I'm not a huge like souvenir.
Yeah,
buyer.
I didn't buy because I bought Evan wanted a sweatshirt, and that's the only like thing like that I bought. Jim got a World's End T-shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my souvenir T-shirts are all the freaking sweatshirts that I just bought, but they don't say Scotland. They're just cool looking.
Yeah.
The last day when we were shopping, I was shopping for gifts because, for those of you who don't know, I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and so my husband, my mother-in-law, and my parents like really stepped up and kind of, provided help so I could go. So I wanted to make sure I got them all something. So I dragged Christina up and down the Royal Mile shopping for gifts, and I wanted a sweatshirt for myself that said Scotland on it. And so I didn't want one. They had ones that were like super sporty and had like a huge Scottish flag. I'm like, I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
I finally found one, and it said something like Scotland, and then had 1978, which makes no sense. I don't care. It was comfortable, and I wore it home on the flight, and so.
Becca wanted that sweatshirt. We could not find one anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually, I saw them. They were right outside Edinburgh Castle. A bunch of those shops had them.
I'm
I'm
we
surprised.
didn't stop there.
Yeah. I don't do a lot. Yeah, I don't do a lot of souvenirs either because I find like you end up buying stuff that you never use.
Well, not only that, but they jack up the prices.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing with the Royal Mile. Like, it reminded, like, Royal Mile is like the Times Square of Edinburgh. Like, it's where all the tourists go. It's where all like the shops are. And we would walk by and we would see like Celtic jewelry. And we're like, oh, pretty. And then you'd walk a little further and it's the same sign in the same storefront. And we're like, oh, this is just like a touristy like shop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was hard. Like, it takes a minute to get street savvy about what are like the genuine, authentic stores and which ones are meant to kind of be tourist traps. I would say Victoria Street is probably more authentic. I mean, there's still some touristy stuff there for sure. But there's also just like really nice, like, I can't remember the name of it, Tracy, but the shop that you went into to look for a hat that had really pretty
Walker or something or other. Becca bought a sweater there.
Oh, yes.
That was like more of an authentic, yes, Sarah.
It was
Milkman.
Wow, I guess I have to pull all my stuff together because I was just thinking I did get the scarf that that Charlotte got for me for the hand fasting.
The one I draped across your arms.
Yes, and you took my hat off that I had just gotten at that store.
So funny 'cause,
I'm looking at him now and I'm like, oh, my hair looks so awful because I had hat hair.
well, but so let's talk about that for a minute, right? So we were running a little bit late because that morning you decided you needed clothes. We stopped at the department store for like half an hour, and then
Black sweater was what it.
I needed something. I like had nothing. Jim's like, you need to dress nicer today. I'm like, okay.
It was like, of all days, right? Like, poor Charlotte's like, Jamie and Ray are at the Kirk. Like, they're just waiting.
They're just waiting there.
So there was the church that's still functional, and then the old Kirk, which is really just like half of a wall on this side, half of a wall on this side, and the front.
It's a ruin.
So we get there, and Charlotte had sold it as like, oh, it's Rob Roy's grave. It's a great historical kirkyard. It was
a beautiful kirkyard.
Yeah, it's a great spot to take some photos. So we all get there, and she's like, okay, let's take some photos in front of the graves. We're like, okay. We're just like killing time because Jim ran back to the car for a wardrobe change, and Jamie and Ray are like dressed up. Ray's dressed as Dougal, and Jamie's wearing like that beautiful like peak.
Oh, I know.
Oh my god,
gorgeous coat.
And he's tucked in, so I like pop my head in, and I post it in the reel of like all the goofy stuff. He's like tucked in the corner, and we couldn't even see Ray at this point. So we're trying to keep Maria from walking into the kirkyard because then she would have seen Jamie, and if she walked any further, she would have seen Ray. So we're like, Maria, look at this great, look at the cross on that. Wow, that's cool.
Look at the cross on that.
It up to try to get her to not go in. So of course, then she pops her head in, and I'm like, get over here. She's Jamie, or someone who looks like Jamie, and
I was like,
what is he doing?
Who's in the corner?
Meanwhile, Jim
kind of freaked me out. I'm like, why is there a person in this corner?
We're like, what is he doing down at the car? So finally, he walks up, and he's got this plaid tie on and a button-down shirt. And Maria's like, I see her go like that. Like, what?
What's he doing?
So we walk through, and we pass. There was like a bush that was like concealing Ray and his little setup that he had of everything for the hand fasting. And we go around, and that's where the video kicks in, and you see Maria like, what?
Going what?
She's holding like her sunglasses, her phone. She's got a ball cap on. So I go and I just start stripping things off. Because I'm like, she's not gonna want a baseball cap on. Well, it was just funny because you're like, what are you doing?
I know. I'm like, why are you taking my hat off? Because I have horrible hat hair.
Yeah.
And then
So
it was
funny. And then like the whole video, like your face was just like, you had this look on your face. Like, I know you're not a crier, but it was so sweet to see how emotional you were because you were so surprised, and it was really funny. And then everyone afterwards was like, because we all were so afraid we were gonna spoil it somehow.
Yeah.
Because when we left Black Ness, we were all like, bye, Ray. It was so. Hopefully, we'll see you.
Yeah, because that was the day before.
Right. Hopefully, we'll
Yeah.
see you before we go and whatever. And he was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Nicole was your fairy godmother getting.
Yeah, she's like, take that baseball hat on and put the scarf on.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the thing was, we were at the Honey and Hamish. Like, there's the farm, but then there's the full like clothing store and souvenir shop and stuff. And Charlotte's like, come here. And so we're like looking at scarves, and she's like, what do you think? Like, I want her to have some kind of plaid to wear, right? So we're looking at the patterns, and I'm like, well, she's wearing a skirt today, but I think there's like pinks in the skirt, but it's mostly black. So I go over and I'm like, oh, and she's trying on a hat at this point. And I'm like, oh, let me see your hat. I'm looking at her skirt. Just. So I go back. I'm like, okay, so there's pinks. There's like, so we picked out the scarf, but I was trying to be super stealthy.
Yeah, you were, because I was like, okay.
It was, yeah.
I look back now and I'm like, oh yeah, it's obvious, but I didn't
Yeah.
I
Oh,
didn't
it all
catch
makes
it.
sense.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah, we were all just, yeah, it was just, and then of course, when Ray was giving his like speech or whatever, we all were just, I look
I was
over,
crying.
I'm crying, Tracy's crying, Christina's all filled up. Now, Jane's down on like one knee, like taking video, and I see Charlotte like look down, he's crying. He tried to say it was because he was getting sick, which he was, but he tried, yeah. So we were all crying. Anyway, it was very.
And so I got 2 rings. So I got the ring that Jim got me for the hand fasting. And then he also got me the
key ring.
Outlander ring.
Oh,
Key
yeah,
ring.
the Key to Lollybrook ring. That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did he get that for you in Scotland?
He had gotten it because I told him like kind of probably a week or so before we left. I'm like, Gina, I'll tell you about it on Friday. So my sister's on here. She's like, what's going on? What happened? Gina, I'll tell you all about it on Friday. When we were on the phone, I couldn't go into all the details and tell you about my whole trip while we were on the phone. Okay. So about a week before we left, I said, one thing that I want for sure while we're in Scotland is I want one of these rings. I said, that's like the thing that I want.
Yeah.
So he told me he had then went online and he ordered it, but then he gave it to me while we were there. So
Oh, that's sweet. Cool.
Well, at one point he was looking at stuff, and he kept showing you rings, and you're like, "That's too feminine. That's too." And I had said to him, like, "Are you looking for a ring for her or for you?" Because I wasn't sure what the ceremony itself was going to entail.
mm-hmm.
Oh, I already got her a diamond one. I'm like, oh, my mistake. He had that part planned out.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool too, though, that during the ceremony he included us in the hand fasting.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
that was sweet.
Although I did it wrong, I
Well,
still thought it was
So
sweet.
I was kind of bummed because when he was asking for volunteers, we didn't realize like what it meant. And there were 3 strips of cloth, so it would have been nice if it was the 3 of us. And so I was like, oh, Jamie should do it, not realizing what it was.
Right.
So I was
Yeah.
kind of bummed that, and so Charlotte's like, well, you helped get her ready. You got her dressed. I'm like, sure I did. But
You're the stylist.
I styled her before we started.
Right.
And then lastly, how hard was it to leave Scotland?
Very hard.
Yeah, I
it
didn't want to
wasn't as
leave.
hard to leave Scotland as it was to leave you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really loved being there.
We cried a lot.
We cried a lot. Becca and I, after we said goodbye to you and Maria, because we knew we had an extra day with Christina, we were just like, let's go for a walk. And we went up, we went out of the hotel. It was 10:30 at night and it was still daylight.
I know.
And we went down the street and up the hill, and yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, I went there the next day because you guys loved it so much. It's called Carlton Hill. Yeah.
Oh,
you like it?
yes.
Yeah, I did. I got to see the sunset up there at like,
Ooh.
Yeah, that's awesome.
when I'll post my pictures too. Maybe this week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I have so many pictures I still have to post. And
Oh God. I just finished sorting them today so then I could start doing stuff with them.
Well, I
But,
spent
yeah.
I had albums going because I had like a highlights one that I wanted for like the reel that I did, and then I had a funny, like a folder of just all the goofy stuff that I did for that one, and I have another folder of just all of Tracy's faces. But
I know.
No, don't make me
No,
laugh.
all this trip. It was so
the my favorite one though, I think, is when we were reenacting the Men in Kilts shot of Jamie in the doorway, and you're like,
Yes, I know.
I ended the reel with that one, and it kills me every time. I crack up watching it every time.
Is this a reel that I have seen?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
the one
is
that
it
you
posted?
It's the
posted.
funny one when we're jumping out of the stones and out of the wheat, and yeah. And I was like, so you get to the end, and it's just you.
And then I do have to, because Jim made a point to even yell it up the stairs, that the other private tour that we went on was that part of the cemetery, because that's guarded, or it's locked to
Oh,
everybody else
And Greyfriars.
Guys.
at Greyfriars. So
I loved
that
that
was
tour.
that was a very that's where Sam and Graham go in Men in Kilts, where that's where Charlotte takes them, and that is a locked part. Like unless you know somebody
Yeah,
with
unless
keys,
you-
you can't get in there. So when we went in and when we got out, people were like,
Yeah,
somebody
they were
even
jealous.
lied saying he knew
he was part of the
congregation.
Who was,
Yeah.
who was lying? Yeah.
I enjoyed that because of the connection with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
There was a gravestone or crypt, or I don't even know what it was. That was one of the inspirations for was the inspiration for Sirius Black and Harry Potter, which was very cool for Becca to see. But then when we went on the Harry Potter tour, and knowing that and not actually going in there during the tour was like,
With our super attractive tour guide.
yes,
Yeah.
our very hot tour guide.
Oh my
God.
A.
He was
Nicholas.
so cute.
James
He
Mark.
was very cute.
Like we were all. There was a little girl on the tour who was like obsessed with him, and he would take a step to the right, and she would step, and like it was constant.
Becca was like, that little bitch.
I tried to take a picture. She was in the shot, and her mom was so funny. She's like, I think she has a crush. I'm like, I think we all do.
We all have a crush on him. He was so cute. Oh my God. And his name was, he went by Sam, but that wasn't his real name.
Yeah.
So we just thought that was really funny that he went
Why
by
did you pick that name?
Yeah.
that. Yeah. It's Kismet.
All right. I have
Yeah.
49 questions here.
Wow.
All right.
No, he wasn't single, Sarah. He was married.
He was married.
Yeah, he was married. All right. I'll post some of them. Let me see. Will you be posting your itinerary in the future? We did say, I mean, I think I'll do a day by day of what we went to, which I think is okay, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like that's something that's a normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to post all the locations that we went to.
okay.
I would just do that.
That's what I'm doing.
I'll
Because there's,
and I'll do the order that we went to, but not necessarily break it up by day, I guess.
Right.
Aren't they going to close Mid-Hope at some point and make it a distillery? I don't think that's what they're doing. I think they're making one of the they're renovating it on the inside, and James, the man who owns the B&B, showed us the inside of it. Remember, he had the videos on the iPad. So I think they are planning on turning it into something at some point, but I know they kept having issues with getting approval and things.
Right. I know he did say that it's going to be something where maybe more of an event place where, because then the ceiling is going to be high. Because I think he said something along those lines.
I don't remember.
Do they have Uber and Lyft there? They definitely have Uber because that's
They have-
what we got to Sheep Feed in and the kitchen. I don't know if they have Lyft.
I don't think they have Lyft. I think it's only Uber.
Just Uber.
Oh, someone asked, can you start with Maria's hand fasting? So romantic, but we already talked about that. What is the shop that lets you pick the tartans?
Okay. So when I first got to Scotland, I went to visit Carol at Scottish Keepsakes. She's in, I'm going to say it wrong, Kilmarnock, which is west of Glasgow. She's almost to the western side of Scotland. So it was part because she was in on the whole hand fasting thing. So she asked me, she had a whole bunch of tartan out and asked me to pick my favorite ones.
For
So
the
it was
okay.
because it was for the ribbons for the hand fasting.
Yeah.
So
Did you know-
that's the
you
whole
didn't know
story
that at the
behind
time?
that. What's that?
You didn't know that at the time.
I did not. So Carol then, worked on, doing what she did because she like did the edges and everything. So they're nice for,
Meeting, right? Didn't Ray
What's-
talk about how originally it was like your tartan, your husband's tartan, and
right.
the third one was blank for a reason, right?
I don't remember what it is, but yeah, I mean, because that's why there's the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is the Craig Nadoon site on the way to the Highlands? I feel like
No.
if this is the path, we went like this to go to.
Yeah, no
It's really small.
It's way off
Charlotte-
the beaten
Charlotte
path.
way.
told us, she's like, if you're gonna talk about Craig Nadoon, please don't
Bill Monarch.
she's like, don't play it up because it's so hard to get to incorporate it into your tour. You're gonna lose hours of your day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't post these because badges are on, so I'm sorry. While you were there, did you hear where Sam was? I mean, we knew he was at the Highland event on Saturday, and then other than that, no. I'm sure
No, I
probably
mean, we're,
a low profile, knowing there were so many fans around.
oh yeah.
And then, yeah, that was kind of it. So.
Jim, you want to know how I know Carol? We can talk about that later. Or do you want me to say that here? She approached me about doing a giveaway on my page. And then we just started talking to each other. And she's so sweet. And I had her come on one of my Instagram lives. And I don't know, we've just like kind of just kept friendly, always talking on DMs. And one of the things that when she was on my live, we joked about having gin and crafting together when I come to Scotland, and that's what we did. She had all these gins out. She had her whole table was all set with wonderful treats, homemade bread. Her one son is a baker, so there was like homemade bread that he made that was incredible. And I was not very good at the crafting because I had a little bit too much gin, but it was a really wonderful afternoon, and she was just so sweet and lovely. So, yes.
How do we join book club? Well, I mean, you just on Wednesdays at 8:00, you come to my page and hit live.
Join. Why not?
I'll be posting the chapter, so I usually post the chapters like the weekend before. I'm gonna try to get better at that, give people more time. But Maria just sent me all of the Audible chapter. I go based on the length of the chapters to try to map out how long each week's reading will be, because I don't want anyone to feel like they're reading a ton, can't finish. So I'll be doing that probably tomorrow because the kids go to daycare tomorrow.
Woohoo!
So I'm gonna go to the
Yay, daycare.
I'm gonna go to the beach with my bag and my chair.
Oh,
Wow.
sounds really nice.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no way to join. There's no like email you have to sign up with. You just tune in with us. I mean, any of our pages, you can go to us at 8:00 and you'll see that we are live 8:00 Eastern. So same time as tonight, just next week.
Yeah.
Starting with Echo in the Boner. Echo in the Boner.
Go in the barn.
Yeah, Sam got his doctorate in yeah, we know. Okay, Dr. Sam. How are the pubs? I mean, we went to a couple. I mean, I think in terms of like a true pub, World's End was probably me. Although we went to on our last day, what was that one?
Beehive Inn.
Beehive Inn. That one was nice.
It was really good.
Although they gave me the wrong food.
They did give you the wrong
yeah.
food.
I ate half of it and then realized this is tuna, not chicken. Any midge attacks? No.
Any what?
Midge attacks.
No.
Devil's Pulpit. We did not go to the Devil's Pulpit.
No.
That new cabin. Oh, I think this is about the shooting location. No. So any of those, like the Fraser's Ridge cabins, the big house, I think that cabin belongs to the Hunters, if that's the one you're talking about. Those are all like, it's not a closed set per se, but it's not like you can just walk to it. All the entrances. So the one thing to know in Scotland, there are no trespassing laws.
Yeah.
However, Outlander has security that will prevent you from just walking up to their set.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did we
Somebody asked about our meetup with Joanne.
Yes.
Yeah, we can talk about
Oh yeah,
Joanne.
I guess we didn't really
That's
talk
all
about
right.
our meetup in Glasgow. We wanted to meet with our friends who were going to Highlanders because we weren't going to Highlanders. And yes, I know Marky Dan's was amazing. I'll talk about that in a minute. And so I kind of put some feelers out probably the last month or so for people who are going to Highlanders, and then send them our little invitation to come meet up with us so we can get, meet people in person. And I had asked Joanne if, she wanted to come, and she had said that she wanted to meet up with us at some point when we were there. So yes,
But never confirmed.
but not
No.
confirmed.
I was so surprised to see her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know if she was going to come on Sunday and meet up with us, or if she was going to come Thursday on our Glasgow day. And then she showed up on Sunday, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was so sweet, and just
She
it was so
And
nice.
I loved that she had a fan moment
Oh,
of her
yeah.
own.
Yes.
Because wait, who was it? Gail Porter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gail Porter was there at the bar, and she was like, "Oh my God, is that Gail Porter?" Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
She was very sweet. She just kind of hung out, had a drink with us, took a bunch of photos with everyone. She stayed about an hour and a half.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And we were actually on our, we were all, it was kind of like we were leaving as well when she left. So it wasn't, it was just, it was great. And I think, and for everyone who was there, they didn't know that she might stop by either. So
It was a surprise
It
for
was a
those
Surprise to everybody.
that
Yeah.
was really, really cool. And
Yeah, it was very cool.
and she's just, she's got some stuff she's working on, and it was nice to hear her talk about that. And she couldn't talk about Outlander at all. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody knew that, but was kind
Right.
of, so it was just, I really enjoyed hearing her just, talk about whatever it is she wanted to talk about.
Exactly. I know.
Very cool. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gail Porter, she's famous in the UK.
Yeah. Look her.
she,
Yeah, look her up.
years and years and years ago, what did she?
She was the
Pose for FHM magazine.
Yeah,
Um,
they put her rear of the year,
Rear of the year.
and so
Yeah.
her photo
Put her rear on the
Objective
side of.
Parliament.
Yeah.
But what she's kind of known for now is she does ghost type stuff and with mediums.
mediums and stuff. Mm-hmm.
She was a talk show host, though, wasn't she? A talk
Yeah,
show
she's
host?
done
Yeah.
presenting and things like that.
Mhm.
But she's hosted ghost tour shows.
Yeah.
And she's bald. She has alopecia, and she's kind of a spokesperson for that as well. So she's
Mm-hmm.
cool, very sweet.
Oh yeah, she was so nice.
Joanne was fangirling. She's like, "Oh my God, that's Gail Porter!" And then she went over and talked to her for a little while, and it was just cool to see. Yeah,
It's
it was.
yeah, this is how we feel about you guys.
Yeah, I know. And it was neat because when she came in, Gail Porter, Charlotte and Jamie were there. They're like, "Oh my God, it's Gail Porter!"
Yeah, no,
And so they went over and they just they were all talking to her, but because they have that ghostly connection,
Right.
They
Yeah.
kind of already knew each other.
right.
And so then it was oh, she was there for a while because she was talking to
Jamie and
Jamie and Charlotte, and then
I think-
Joanne came in, and it was just
Jamie
yeah, it was
had
really cool.
spoken to her, but had never met her in person. So it was
Right.
it was cool for them too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of that came to Slouch. She's actually on here now. I get Spellbound. We spent a lot of time talking together, and she's the one who told me about Gail Porter. And
was she the one sitting next to you?
I think so, yeah. And I
Yeah.
think Gail Porter is also a feminist, so she not only talks for alopecia, but also for relationship women, empowering women, and stuff like that. So she means a lot to a lot of the women in the UK. And yeah, so she used to be in a bad relationship, but now she's like a stronger person for it. So she's inspiration to a lot of women.
It was
That's
just
cool.
it was crazy. She just happened to be
Yeah,
there.
I know.
the
I
show.
know.
It was just funny because at one point the music kept getting louder and louder and louder, and we were just trying to like we had like these long kind of couches reserved at the front, and Joanne asked the bartender if they could turn it down. And they were like, "We are a rock and roll bar," and she's like, "Oh."
We know that, but we're trying to talk.
We all felt really old. We just wanted to chat. For the cemetery, I'm guessing that's Greyfriars Kirkyard, and so yes, we did all together on Friday for the ghost tour, and then again, some of us did the Harry Potter tour the following Thursday. Is Glasgow worth seeing?
We don't know because we didn't see it.
Yeah, we didn't see enough of it to have an opinion.
An opinion, no.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it is some parts of it, although people specifically said, "Oh, you should just skip it." I'd still like to see it.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
So next time.
I think it would depend. I think I would want to know what there is to see before I decide whether or not
Right.
I mean, based on what we saw, I would say skip it, but we didn't see enough to really
No.
Yeah.
judge it. I mean, we drove through it to get to Paul's gym. So let's talk about that really
Yeah, because people keep asking, talk about Paul.
So we had been messaging him kind of in the weeks leading up to the trip and hadn't really been able to nail down a time or a day that would work for him. And so finally he said, Wednesday, which was our Glasgow day, and had said around lunchtime. So Charlotte's like, that's Scottish for like an hour before, an hour after 12 o'clock. So we're like, okay. So we had gone to, what had we done first thing? First thing that morning, we had done Glencorse, and then we were going to Craig Miller, and then from there we were heading to the gym. And so we get there, and there's just like a woman at the reception desk, and it's just one room, but there's like all this new equipment. It's a beautiful facility, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, hi, we're just here to see Paul. Now, all of us are in like jeans and boots. Like, we're clearly not there to work out. And
Right.
like,
Yeah.
she was like, hi, can I help you? Like, we're just here to see Paul. And she's like, oh, okay, he's just in the loo, whatever. We're like, okay. Now we can see there's the men's room, women's room right there. So we're just all standing there.
Waiting for the door to open.
Waiting for him to come out.
He didn't know we were there. So he walks out and here's this crew, right? And he could
Yeah.
have been more lovely. He came right over, gave us all these big hugs.
He was so nice.
He was so
Yeah.
nice. He was telling us about this movie he filmed in South
Columbia.
Colombia.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cali, Columbia.
He's playing a mercenary hired to kill.
Well, he was killing Esteban. Esteban, isn't?
Escobar.
Trying to, yeah.
Mhm.
And so he was showing us pictures of that, and then we all got the gloves. I mean, you saw the footage. I mean, it was comical because none of us. I mean, I think of any of us, Christina had the most know-how.
Oh yeah.
But we all looked. I mean, I'm like, he asked me to send him the video of the reel. Like, he wanted the raw footage. Because he's like, this is such a great video. Because I want to post it so I have it forever. I'm like, really? All right.
Okay.
So I did, and he hasn't posted it yet.
No. He was being nice. He's just nice.
Well, but he didn't need to ask for it. But the problem is when you save a reel, it doesn't save the audio with it.
Yeah.
So it was just mute. So maybe that's why he didn't post it, because you'd have to re-add it. But it was just, yeah. So he was just very kind and asking us about our trip and showing us the basics. But I mean, again, it was like we were just let loose in space. Like, he didn't know. Again, it was giving me the same vibes as the Stones, like just a bunch of idiots let loose.
Yeah. It was good though. He was really nice, and just whatever we asked him to do. He was
And
just
he
like
silly
all in.
poses. He was like all
Yeah.
into doing whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But my
But
And
my
he was sweet to Becca.
yeah.
Because I originally had wanted him to show her some self-defense moves, and she had fallen asleep in the van and had just woken up, and she was just like, yeah, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
And so, but he did talk to her for a minute and was just really nice.
Yeah.
So
But then the best was he was we were talking about because he said you can always tell when I'm not filming because I have the beard because he has to be clean shaven when he's Ronnie Sinclair. So he had like a few
yeah.
growth.
he had some scruff.
He had some scruff.
Yeah.
So we were joking. We're like, oh, so that's how we know, right? So he gets out his phone and he's showing us photos and he's like, well, he's like, I should post some of these. These are great, like behind the scenes. Like
Yeah.
he took videos of himself, like at the stones in the back lot, like touching the stones and be like, oh, that one doesn't work. Oh, how about this one? Oh, this one doesn't work. And then he would take a step back because he's scrolling through like season 7.
Season 7.
But then he'd show us something and then like nothing that gave anything away, but it was just so funny. He was like, I can't show you that, but oh, look, you know, okay, I can't show you. Like he couldn't help himself. So that was fun. No, he was great. I mean, the photos were just him laying on the ground with his eyes open, just so yeah.
We gave him our addresses to send us a
Send us
t-shirt.
Swag, yeah. Because I said
No.
I wanted to buy something, you know.
Yeah.
All they had there were kind of samples and stuff.
Yeah, he was waiting for it.
Because he hadn't. Yeah.
So we'll see what we end up with. Because he didn't ask our sizes for anything.
Well, we
wrote
wrote
them
our
down.
sizes
Did we?
down. Yeah,
I wrote my size
With
down.
the addresses.
yeah,
Mhm.
Oh, I did.
yeah. Some of the equipment hit back. Yeah, it did.
I
I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, somebody mentioned on the comments about Harry Potter and the Elephant Cafe.
Oh, yes.
We
got some-
actually learned on the Harry Potter tour that the Elephant Cafe was not the first place that what was her name?
Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
Oh.
Uh, no, it was a different place. What was it called?
Nicholson's Cafe.
Nicholson's Cafe was actually the first place where she started writing Harry Potter. And what happened to that place that she moved to the Elephant? Do you remember?
It had a
There was a fire.
yeah.
There was
So-
a fire at Nicholson's, so she moved to the Elephant.
No,
Mm.
right, no,
Was that not it?
no. That,
No,
that
the elephant was one that had the fire.
in the
No, I know the Elephant had the
Elephant
fire.
house had the fire.
But that was recently. That wasn't when she was writing the books.
Yeah, I think
They sold it, was it? And then it was like a
That's right.
buffet, something like that.
Mhm.
and then she wrote some of book 2 in the Elephant House.
Right.
Yeah.
That reminds me though of this is what I'm thinking of, Misconceptions. If you go to Greyfriars, you'll hear the story of the Greyfriars Bobby, this little dog who was very faithful and stood by their owner and just basically like lived out their life at their owner's grave. And there's a statue outside and the nose is all worn off because people keep touching it because this tour guide years ago, maybe 5 years ago, made up this story that it's good luck to rub the nose of this dog. And
Not.
apparently it's totally made up. It's complete bullshit. But what's happening is it's ruining the statue. The nose of the dog is like shiny. It's getting completely like worn away. So if you go to Scotland and you go to Edinburgh and you go to Greyfriars, do not rub the nose of the dog because
Do not.
the locals will be angry at you. You do not touch the nose. It
And some people might actually yell at you while you're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
we the people.
Don't touch the damn
Bobby.
nose!
Jamie might actually be the one to come and yell at you. It's a completely made up thing. It's not good luck at all. All it's doing is destroying a national landmark. And the problem is the city of Edinburgh can't put any signage up to say don't touch it because then it becomes a permanent fixture and it's a whole thing. Like they can't get approval. So, but yeah, don't do it. Just don't do it.
I will say, Bobby,
Bobby.
don't touch the Bobby.
Oh, that,
Bobby.
Did you go to the Kirk where Jamie and Claire are looking to see what could have made the little boy sick? We did.
Yes,
It's
we
called-
did go there.
Actually called the West Kirk, but we did take pictures. Tracy just posted a whole like carousel of photos, including Maria and I's reenactment of Jamie gaping through the window.
Mhm.
It's the best.
It was so sweet.
There's no context, so it's just me like this.
Yeah. It was just so sweet. I couldn't help it.
Did you spend nights in one place and travel each day to your tours? Except for one, we spent one overnight in Inverness, but every other night was Edinburgh in the same hotel. What was the name of the group you got a membership from for free entry into a bunch of places? Historic Scotland.
Mhm.
You can order your card ahead of time.
Yep, and send it right to you. Did you peek
And they send you a cute book too.
Mm-hmm.
behind the blue cover at Lallybrook? We did. Picture of what's behind that blue thing has been out for a while, but if you want to know, because it is spoilery, we will send it to you.
But you have to message. Yes.
You have to message us. The other thing that we learned from James, who owns the B&B, is that he believes season 7 is the last season.
That's just he believes. That's
He
nobody
believes.
says anything for sure.
Yes. But his reasoning is that Lallybrook is not booked for filming until next year. And then it's booked for a solid chunk of time. And he thinks that that means it's being booked for the prequel.
Yeah, so he thinks that there's going to be.
It's just weird.
Not filming Alan.
That's weird because it hasn't been written yet.
I know, and I still think the prequel is actually Lord John, and that's why David's growing his hair out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's my hope. But anyway,
Yeah.
um,
And can I just say that I love David Barry's hair grown out.
Mm-hmm.
we did go to Ward Park Studios. We did hang out outside. They don't do studio tours anymore. You cannot get inside the building. You cannot get inside the property at all. So
When we went, it was a Sunday evening, so we didn't see anybody. There was like really nobody. I mean, there was probably security people, I'm sure, somewhere.
cameras.
But
There's got footage of us like climbing up that hill and peeking through the bars at some point.
I'm sure there is. Or like, look, there's Indian stuff back here. It's just sitting out in the elements.
I know. What was the cost of the tours alone? We talked about that. So it was kind of an all-inclusive tour. Charlotte priced everything as one group. I mean, although that didn't count, there were some like Mid-Hope you have to pay when you get there. The other one.
We gave for the Glencourse.
Glencore gave her
We had to pay
what 20 or
It
10.
was like 10 pounds.
£10.
But Sterling, Craig Miller, Black Nest we didn't pay for. I'm guessing that's part of it too. There's a
It is part of it.
it was part of the historical.
Yeah, Historic Scotland.
And we didn't pay for Edinburgh Castle either.
No, it was part of our cards. They priced
Mhm.
Yeah.
our cards.
Yeah. We just paid for the £4 for the tour book.
Right.
Yeah, Charlotte is
Dune is also one of them, I believe.
yeah.
Right.
Although they didn't really check us in at all, did they? We just kind of
It-
up.
Dune, I rember going up
think-
and they scanned my card at
I
Dune.
feel like Black Nest was the only place that
Oh,
they
yeah,
didn't.
we had to go into the that little gift shop, right?
Yeah.
And how about Andy? Andy the Highlander, we did not see him. He was actually stateside.
Coming,
the,
yeah, he was.
the North.
He was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
We will provide a list of the places we went, but not an itinerary per se. Would a vegan have a difficult time finding food in Scotland? I would, but I think it would depend on where you're going. Like I think
Yeah.
pub probably would have a hard time.
I don't know. I mean, I think that in Glasgow and in Edinburgh, if you are looking for vegan specific menus, you can find them, but
Yeah.
none of us are vegan or vegetarian, so we weren't looking for that.
Yeah.
But I think that you wouldn't have a hard time if you were looking for that.
Right. And actually, the corner of our hotel, there was a place called Noon, and they actually had a wonderful menu that was vegan and,
Yes.
yeah, gluten-free and all that stuff. So that it's definitely available. You just have to seek them out.
Right.
Yeah, but like you said, Maria, we weren't looking for that specific, so it's hard
Right.
to answer because, I mean, Scotland's not. I mean, it's not a third world country. They're gonna have.
Yeah.
I've heard that
North-
Glasgow has a lot of vegan and vegetarian restaurants.
They do. They do. Because Sam has posted a lot of them.
Remember?
Yeah, and I
Or
know
visited a lot of them.
I know Caitlin O'Ryan and Joanne are both like vegan, like vegetarian vegan,
Oh,
and
And Sam has been in the past.
that's what I said. I was like,
off and on.
vegan for like a year.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, he grew up, well, pescatarian. And then he said that from time to time he goes vegan.
Yeah. You make reservations at castles with the historic Scotland Pass. We did not. I mean, we would go and they'd be like, "Do you have a scheduled time?" And Charlotte was like, "No," and they just let us in. The
Yeah,
only with a schedule was Edinburgh Castle.
yeah, I was
Edinburgh
gonna
was the
say,
only
do
one
your
we needed to
your
pick
your
up on.
Edinburgh Castle ahead of time. But if you want to go on a tour with like the tour guides to go through the castle and then they take you around, that you would need to schedule a tour ahead of time. Because I found that at like Stirling had that.
Yeah.
I want to say one of the other ones we went to. I remember seeing like them taking groups of people around, but I can't think of which one. But you can do that to actually go on a tour. Those you would have to schedule ahead of time.
Let's see. Why didn't we take Uber? We did. We took Uber twice to the Sheep Heed
She peed
and to the kitchen.
the kitchen,
Um,
which I still owe money to somebody for.
No, you don't.
the
Oh
kitchen.
wait, no. Oh, that was wait. No, we're good.
I owe money to Christina.
Oh,
Do you? I don't think so.
I never paid you.
Hmm.
We'll discuss it later.
We did eat haggis. We all like.
Haggis is yummy.
Do you think the tour company would do a tour just like yours for others?
No.
Probably not.
no. You know why? Because we started talking to Charlotte about this last year before she was working for Black Cab Tours. So anything she does now would be through Black Cab. I mean, because she like took time off from them because this was stuff that she had already booked with us a year ago.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get this same thing with her now because she's working for them and not on her,
I think
not on
because
her own.
we have a friendship with her. She did
Right.
extra for us. So I mean, I think you probably could, but it would be over more days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
More. But I would say it's worth it. What hotels? We stayed at the Apex Waterloo, and then I can't remember the B&B.
In Shire.
Always right behind you.
In Shire,
Okay.
bed and breakfast.
Okay. Is it expensive in Scotland? I think it depends. Like if you're going to the touristy locations and eating in the kind of not tourist trap places, but the high traffic areas, it is a little pricey. I want to say on average, a meal was probably like £40 a person. With the exception of like our bigger dinners.
Mm-hmm.
What is the correct way to say Edinburgh? Edinburgh. They say Edinburgh,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I say. I know someone who just went who called it Edinburgh, and I would cringe every time. She
No.
Edinburgh.
It's a borough.
Bird.
Yeah. Well, we have like this. One of the cities next to us is Edinburgh. So when I first like was in like when Evan went to Scotland for his school trip and went to Edinburgh, like I didn't know how to say it right, but that was like way at the beginning before like really my Outlander stuff, where now I know it's Edinburgh is where he, you know, that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Edinburgh.
The price
And,
on the Black Cab Tours website per person or for a group tour, I really don't know. Because we didn't go through the site. We had started the process, like Maria said beforehand. So she kind of built the tour and then gave us our prices afterwards, like of what it would cost. Sarah wants to know best meal we had. We did answer that already.
Well, my best meal that I ate was that chicken and mushroom pie at Garvey and Company. That was a place Paul told us to eat at, and it was really, really good.
And Christina and I like really enjoyed our lunch there as well.
Becca loved her lunch there too.
Yeah, it was so good.
That was the first time I'm like, oh, they found the spices.
Yeah, that place, the
really
Garvey and Company was really good, but also the Scran restaurant.
Well,
yeah. See, I didn't get to eat at Scran because I didn't go there with you guys. But so mine is Garvey. That was like my favorite meal.
And
I am sleepy, Brenda.
That and the macaroni and cheese at Marky Dan's in Oban. Oh my gosh, that was so good. And it did come with a little salad too, which was
the food
like
at Mrs. Baird's B&B was really good too.
It was very good there.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Chocolate cake.
And then that banana fee pie was really good too.
The chocolate cake. Becca was like not wanting to share that cake with me at all.
That was hard because it was like I was hungry, but my eyes were bigger than my stomach, and this big meal came, and I just felt horrible because I left so much. It was so good, but I couldn't finish it.
Was that at the Coventer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got fish. I had to remember what I got.
We had the steak and Guinness pie.
Oh,
that was so good.
I had that special. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, I had the sticky toffee pudding there too, and it was amazing.
Yeah,
yes.
How did our Doc Martens hold up? I loved my Doc Martens.
Oh, they
were very comfortable.
Fish and chips, anyone? Oh my God, so much fish and chips.
Yeah.
I only had fish and chips twice.
I had it once. Once was enough for me.
At World's End, and then when we went on our way to Inverness, where did we stop?
Oh, that
Fiddler's place.
Fiddler's. We had fish and chips there. We had Becca and I had fish and chips in London at the Harry Potter Warner Brothers Studios. Do not get fish and chips there. They're not good. They're not good.
Good to know.
Vennel Street. Did we go there? No, we didn't. I don't know. I have Charlotte booked for 4 days in April. What are her favorite things, such as snacks and goodies? Oh,
snacks and goodies. No, she supplied all the snacks.
Yeah, she brought us a whole bunch of stuff.
No, I don't know what her favorites. Although no, she loves carrot cake. Loves carrot cake.
Oh yeah, she does love a good carrot cake.
You found each other on Instagram, but where did it go? Oh, but did one of you have a fan account first?
Yeah,
Tracy.
I think we all did.
Tracy was the first one.
Yeah.
And then
you
I
had
think
the established one at the time.
Yeah, Nicole and you and I think we both started ours around the same time.
For me, it was July of 2019.
Okay, mine was March. I think March of 2019.
Yeah. See, I started mine in December of 2017.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm the old lady.
We followed each other in that order necessarily. Like it wasn't like we all found Tracy first, and then it was just kind of like we all were. It was
fans of each other.
Following Maria because she's the one who had posted about Comic-Con. So it wasn't necessarily who had the oldest account.
Right. I was following Maria, and she's the one that posted the who's going to Comic-Con, and I was like, I am. I want to go. And so she put me in the chat group.
Yep, you put me in the chat too.
Mm-hmm.
Wants to know, I noticed several others who traveled got sick. How did you all stay healthy with so little sleep? You are all awesome. I think part of it was that we didn't go to the Highlanders because I feel like that's
Yeah.
kind of a big, not super spreader, but a lot of people got sick who went to that. We were kind of just with each other, so it was like
Our own bubble.
right, yeah. All right, hold on. I have there's
Vitamins.
here. Sorry.
I brought my vitamins.
Yeah, I took my vitamin every day.
Super busy.
Oh, and also we didn't drink a lot. I
We
think that
didn't.
also contributed. We did not drink
Yeah,
a lot.
we were too tired to drink.
Oh my God, I know.
We just wanted to sleep.
Oh god,
Charlotte?
the first night, Christina and I had been awake for like 24 hours.
24 hours.
And
Oh, yeah.
we got to the hotel.
Germ fest.
And Charlotte left to go get Maria and Jim. We like were there maybe 15-20 minutes, and then Tracy and Becca got there, so we saw them, we said our hellos, and then we went down and slept for like 2 hours just enough to like take the edge off. But that night I remember we had gone out to that bar, the one that was like outdoors, but then we went inside,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, yeah.
by the end I was like
Yeah.
I
That was-
passed the F out.
It was a long day.
Oh,
Yeah,
God. Yeah.
that first day was
I mean,
rough.
I think, yeah, we were just too tired to drink a lot. I would have to drink with dinner, but it was usually just one.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it wasn't enough to like
Catch a bus.
bring out the Patsy, Dot, and Bev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
No, Dot
one time.
Dot came out at the Slouch Bar.
Yeah, that's where Patsy was at the Slouch Bar, but that was really it.
That was really it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Because
hello.
Tracy's sitting with me and she's like,
Who was that?
like just good.
She gets all giggly.
Yeah. Let's see. Did you learn anything about Outlander that you didn't know before the trip?
I mean, I feel like we learned a lot of like filming stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
behind the scenes stuff.
Behind the scenes stuff. And I loved Paul's story about John Tarsi
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to?
almost catching on fire during the
Fire of the Cross.
episode 501.
Right. And he was like, they told me to stand there, so I stood there. And Paul's like, if you're going to catch on fire, move. But they told me to stand there. It's just,
He's
yeah.
so British and polite, and then the
Yes.
with the horse, how he was like, oh, my horse,
I think it's broken.
John Tarsi is the sweetest. He's so sweet.
Someone asked about the weather. We already kind of talked about the weather. Can I buy your itinerary from Scotland? No, you go through our Black Cab tours. Super busy day, seeing all the things, or relaxing more and just seeing the main stuff. So I think they're asking this from
Would you rather? It's a would you
Yeah.
rather question.
rather
What
busy day.
what's the question?
Would you rather have a super busy day seeing all the things, or relaxing more and just seeing the main stuff?
I like being busy. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed
Combo.
it.
Combo.
I didn't feel like when we were going to all these places in one day, like when you listed off all the things in one day, I didn't feel rushed about it.
Yeah.
It was like in hindsight when suddenly you looked at the clock and it was 9:30 and you're like, oh my God, we've been on the road for 12 hours.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
It flew.
But the sun is still out.
Right.
I
And now
know.
you're
It
saying,
can't be late.
yeah, it was the smoke and mirrors because it was daylight until like 10:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's hard to gauge because we really did have super busy days, but it didn't feel like
Didn't feel
last
like it.
day when it was just us in Edinburgh. We left at like 9 o'clock and we got back at like 5:30, and I was like, it doesn't feel like I've been walking around for 8.5 hours, but we have.
Yeah.
It just kind of the time just
It was weird. It was weird. It was like being on another planet.
know.
To be honest.
all right, we have three more. I'm gonna go in order of that. Okay, which location made you want to cry?
Oh gosh,
I
which
Glencoe.
location? What?
Glencoe is the only place where I get a little choked up. And then in my hand fasting ceremony, I got a little choked up.
Mid for
Um,
me and Glencore's.
yeah, probably Glencore's.
Yeah, I think
and
Glencore's.
maybe Lollybrook a little bit. Because Lollybrook was really the first place that we went to
Mhm.
that was an Outlander filming location.
Yeah.
And so I think just the four of us walking up that driveway, I'm gonna cry now thinking about it. Walking up that path to the castle, it was just, I think that made me
Verklempt.
Well,
yeah.
it was like we've been talking about this trip for so long, and the fact that we finally were there, and then that was the, like, to me, in terms of when you Google Outlander Scotland locations, that's the first thing that comes up, right? So
Yeah.
like it was like a culmination of all of this planning, and just
Yeah, it didn't feel real that we were actually all together on this
I know.
trip
Yeah.
and seeing it with our own eyes, and it looked exactly as they pan up to
I
Lollybrook
know.
too, and yeah, that was
trees
emotional.
framing that shot,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what was exciting too is that they still had the Fraser crest there too,
I know.
so that kind of like solidified the fact that we were like, oh my God, we're really here, and that's really Lollybrook.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
know, it's almost like am I really seeing things right? You know, when you pull
Right.
up and you're into the parking lot, and you look down that road, and you're like, oh my God, like that's
Yeah.
it's it, and it just looks just like that. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
just incredible,
Yeah.
surreal.
So surreal.
Glencoe though was pretty amazing.
Stunning.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that when we were there, we got the full experience, that it actually
yeah.
rained on us and it was windy, and then the skies cleared up and we saw rainbows. Like we got like the full like effect of Glencoe. It was
Yeah.
stunning. Like
I just
natural
like
beauty.
too that we found the White House. I mean, you can't not find the White House. But we went out to the White on their yard,
The
and
best-
to the lake, and
There were a couple moments where Maria had these ideas of things she wanted us to do. And before the trip, we had talked about, like, we'll do all the things, right? Like any stupid video or meme or whatever we want to do, we'll do, right? So we're cold, we're wet. And she's like, all right, we're all gonna go over here. It was always like a cruise director thing. It was never like, I have an idea. What if we did this? Would you like? It was no. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna stand here. We're gonna jump up in the air. We're like, what? And Jim's gonna take a picture from over here. So Jim is like 200 feet this way. We're all the way over here, and we're going 3, 2, 1, jump. 3, 2, 1, jump. Surrounded by more sheep poop. But then the photo was great because it was just like
it was the live,
The
like a
boomerang.
boomerang live.
It was a
It was
boomerang.
jumping, and then you have this beautiful stuff all around you.
Yeah.
yeah. We did not see River Run. That's
No, we don't know where it's at. Like, does anybody know? I don't know where River Run is.
I don't know where it is.
No.
all right. Let me see. Someone wanted to talk about which conventions are the best and why. I mean, it depends what you want. If you
I don't know that I've been to enough of them
were
to decide.
like personal experiences, the smaller ones are best, but you're going to pay more money.
Yeah. I mean, you really are. You're going to be like, it's how much? But you're paying for an experience.
Yeah.
The Outlandish Vancouver one was my favorite.
It was really, Outlandish Vancouver was an amazing con. It was
Yeah.
small, but there were still like a lot of people, but there weren't too many. And you really had
under
like,
200.
Yeah.
It
And
yeah,
it
it
was
was about 200. Yeah.
and it was always well organized, and everything
Right.
worked in clockwork, like they always
Mhm.
they were fantastic, the ladies.
And the Kick-Ass event this weekend, it was smaller, but hopefully it'll grow because that was the Last Kingdom and Outlander convention. It was great. I mean, we're talking to everybody, that was there, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it was really cool. So I think the smaller ones are better. Wizard World is no more, so we don't know like what's going to happen. That avenue of cons like that
Mhm.
you know, the who bought it? Isn't it Megaverse or MegaCon or some other metaverse? That's it. So I don't know what theirs are going to be like in the future. And then New York Comic Con is just so big that you don't get to do. They don't offer, like, you don't get meet and greets, you don't get photos. Like, there's lottery for an autograph. It's just very not personable at all.
The only thing I like the New York Comic Con for is to just go to New York and hang out with
Yeah,
everybody.
exactly. It's more of to see your friends, your Outlander friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this is my last question. This one's from Brittany Wayward McKay. Can I rent one of you ladies for when I eventually plan my trip? Who cares about an itinerary?
Who cares about what?
Who cares about an itinerary?
I'm for hire. I'll go to Scotland with somebody.
Does she want to take us to? What is
she
the
wants to
actual
rent
question?
somebody for Scotland, to go to Scotland.
To go to Scotland
with her.
Like a companion, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, I'll go to Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Available.
Sure, no problem.
Sure.
Yeah.
You want to pay my way? I'll go.
Yeah.
All right. Lastly, I had said that I went through and wrote down all of the places we went to and which days. I'm not going to say which days we went to them, but I just want to list all of the shooting locations we went to. Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Bakehouse Close, Mid-Hope. So A. Malcolm, Lollybrook. We went to Abercorn Church, which was where Frank was buried. Blackness Castle, which was Fort William. We went to the Covenanters, which was Mrs. Baird's. We saw where Alex Randall died. We went to Galis's house. We went to Leary's house. We went to the Black Kirk. We went to our secret location. Then we had a day where we went to Dune, which was Castle Leoch.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Versailles, Craignadoon. We went to the Witch Trials. We went to Fraser's Ridge. We went to the scene of the wedding. We went to Ardsmuir. We went to Harvard. 18 locations in total.
One, two, three, four, five.
I said Fort William, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
17, 18. Yeah. Okay, that's what I have too.
Actually, it's a little bit more than that because also Tim's shop is where they filmed.
Okay. Yes, the apothecary.
Well, that's what we have
Apothecary.
just have Falkland down, but
Season
like
2.
not.
And if you want to count Lollybrook, there's really 3 there because there's the cave, there's the scene where Fergus loses his arm.
And
So,
Right. I mean, there's multiple. Yeah.
but yeah.
There's so many. Even in the Hermitage, there was so many scenes filmed
Mhm.
there from season 4. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
but
that's
yeah,
our trip.
that's our trip.
in a nutshell,
It was a good trip.
it was a
an
really
awesome
good trip.
Yeah.
Season 3.
Caca!
Between that and the Stab Fest.
Stab
Stab
Fest. I forgot about Stab Fest.
Yeah,
Oh God.
Fest.
yeah.
Um.
I don't even know why I started doing that. Why did I start doing that?
What, Caca?
The caca.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think when the first time was that you did it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I
Weird.
feel like it was. It doesn't matter. It was fun.
I don't know. But the yoga thing was my favorite.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Well, you know, it was funny because at my last yoga class that I went to before the trip, my friend, I'm like, I want you to record me doing a yoga move because I want to incorporate doing yoga moves when I go to, or poses when I go to Scotland. So I have something coming where it's my original one here and then all my other ones.
Got it.
So.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. Well, this was fun.
This was good.
I miss you guys.
Me too. I'm jet lagged, so usually
I'm still.
I've been falling asleep like 10:30 every day. This is the latest
Yeah.
I've been up.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
know. Same.
It's almost 11:30. We've kept
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're gonna say goodnight. Be on the lookout for chapters for next week. We're starting an Echo in the Bone
Woohoo.
right here.
Yes.
Some of these ladies.
Right here with us, Echo and the Boner.
Echo in the Boner.
Wonderburner. I'm excited.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. If we didn't answer any of your questions, which I don't know how, but if we didn't answer your question, you can DM us.
Yeah, just DM us.
All right. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Bye,
Bye.
Hugs to everybody.
Ah.
Mm.
Bye.